Hello and good evening for anybody who's here. I am so sorry. I was watching the clock on the wall, which says it is 1 minute past 9. And when I pick my phone up, it actually says it's 7 minutes past. So I am so sorry that I'm late coming on. A million apologies. We blame Porky's shit clock rather than me not watching my own clock. And how are we all this fine evening? I've just realised that my name change hasn't saved. Oh, flipping heck. I think I'm going to have to go back and try and change it. For my incognito, even though you all know who I am anyway, but for my incognito, I had picked a special name. And for some reason, it's not saved. Hi, Mrs. M. How are you, my lovely? And Danny, hello. Hello, hello. I'm so sorry I'm late. I don't know if you just heard. I was watching the clock on the wall, which is it's actually slow. It said 1 minute past 9, and when I picked my phone up to log in, it was 7 minutes past. Like, oh shit! So I'm really sorry for being late. I like to be punctual as always. Princess from UCOC, or is that UK okay? Oh dear me, let me have a little look. But hello, hello and welcome. I grabbed a lunch today after work at a new place. They had a sandwich called the Porky. Did they? Wowza. I'm going to highlight that one because I know he won't be coming in the chat tonight, but he'll hopefully be watching it on his other screen. So I shall highlight that. Hopefully it didn't taste too bad, Danny. Is that a new photograph that you've got up there, Danny? It's very nice. I've just looked, unless I've just not noticed before. Looking very sexy there. Mrs. Mercury, oh bugger, I forgot about Incognito night. It doesn't matter, or you can run away and change things if you like. I won't mind. I'm just debating whether it's Princess from UCOC or UKOK. Because me and my guessing, not great. Well, I was just going to be really boring because it was Siberia tonight. I was just going to be Ivan Nakarov. For anyone in America, a knacker is a testicle. So, how are we all anyway? Is everybody okay? I had to knock this back an hour because we went out for dinner and we were running slightly late. So I knew damn well we wouldn't get back in time for the 8 o'clock start that I had hoped for. So, and I'm sorry if you can hear laughter in the background. Porky's in his office online playing games, and there's a lot of hilarity by the sounds of it. So I'm hoping it's not going to put me off or throw me off my stride. So tonight we are doing, well, let's have a look. Same photo. I didn't get the Porky. I went with the basic grilled cheese and tomato. I don't blame you, Danny. Well, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've put you up on the screen here. For some reason, that photo's never gelled with it's not really sunk in with me before. But I would have put you up on screen the other night when we were doing all sexy mamas. So Tonight we are gonna have. Oh, he's making so much racket. I'm going to be knocking on the wall in a minute, going, "Shut up!" Tonight, by popular demand, I am going to cover Randy Roger in Rasputin. Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. Rah, rah, you indeed. Hello, Randy Roger in Rasputin. We'll put you up on screen for a second so everybody can see. Mrs. Mercury, I'm in bed with the gremlins while they're watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm here with my headphones. Righty-ho. Well, what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to cover the SG3 borehole, otherwise known as the Siberian or the Russian hellhole. I am also going to cover... Oh, sorry, Cooper's lying on my notes, which doesn't help, does it? I don't know if any of you have heard of the Tunguska event. And that's something else that happened in Siberia. Everything weird happens in Siberia. So we're going to go through those two. And if we've any more time, we will get straight from there, go on to Dyatlov. Because it doesn't matter how many times you cover it, Dyatlov is just fascinating. Rasputin would be a good video of his own. Do you know, it's he was somebody else who fascinated me. The whole Rasputin and the Tsarina and he was a weird looking bugger, wasn't he? Like, funnily enough, do you know who he reminds me of? And well, I don't know what you would think, Danny. He's another one. He's got that Manson look, that crazy, mad as shit eye thing going on. So it's yeah. For some reason, I mean, I didn't know a lot about, and I still don't know a lot or enough about the Manson case, but. Yeah, sorry, Randy Roger in Rasputin. I'm just calling it as I see it. But yeah, I always thought there was just some similarity there in the eye-age. The wild-eyed Randy Rogering Rasputin and old Charlie Manson. Yeah, it was like Mrs. Mercury. What I always found bizarre was, you know, people would talk about Rasputin and, you know, they would say things, well, basically about his whole demeanour and the fact he was this Svengali-esque persona, and, you know, he was very hypnotic and it just weird, really, really weird. And again, Manson was the same. He had a way of like drawing people in. Can you hear that singing? Noisy bastard. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever noticed that, Danny. It's just the eye thing. And sometimes if you look now, not to the same extent, but remember that David Koresh, that cult leader? Again, he didn't have the same dark hooded eye thing that Manson had and Rasputin had, but he definitely had that weird eye thing going on. And I've always wondered, you know, is that I know they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but I don't know. Sometimes you look in somebody's eyes and you get a real picture of the mental frame of mind. I'm not saying you as an individual, Randy Roger and Rasputin, but obviously your namesake was a little bit odd. Yeah, women loved him. He apparently had a big schlong. Oh, who did Mrs. Mercury? Rasputin or Manson? Schlong. I love that word, schlong. Dong always makes me laugh, but yeah, schlong. I've got a friend, Danny. Yeah. Oh, Rasputin had one. Oh. Well, obviously, while we're yes, I've gathered that Randy Roger and Rasputin. You have a schlong, an incredibly large schlong. We may as well go on to smut while we're just waiting for people to come in. But there was also I was talking about this with somebody on here, and I can't remember who it was. And I was talking about Errol Flynn. Epitome. Hello. Oh, now we have to guess who you are as well. You've got the same name as my friend's boat. That's called Epitome. Although one of my rather ignorant friends went, "Oh, I really like that name, Epitome." I was like, "Oh, for God's sake." Yes, so we were talking about Errol Flynn. He was supposedly a big willied person. And then there's also what's his face? Liam Neeson is apparently hung like the proverbial donkey. Let's put Epitome's picture up. We can have a little look. I've had a few people say Eptone. Yeah. No, it was my friend Sharon and Adrian. Well, my friends Sharon and Adrian, they have a boat, and yeah, they named her Epitome. I loved that name. Well, I don't know what to start with tonight. Shall I start with... I think I shall start with Tunguska, because just depends how many people come in, because obviously it's quite late for me, really. I don't normally come this late, but we shall see. What do you think? What do you want me to do? The ball hole, the hell hole first? Because there's not a great deal on that. Tunguska, I find Tunguska fascinating, Mrs. Mercury. But again, it's just something in spooky old Siberia. All these things happen in Siberia. And I'm feeling quite, I'm feeling a bit of an affinity with Siberia, because do you remember me telling you all when I had my DNA done, and 7% of my DNA was Finnish stroke Ural. And obviously the Ural Mountains are where Dyatlov was, and that's in Siberia, because Finland shares a border with Siberia, doesn't it? And so I think, so I don't know if I could have a little bit of, it could be Siberian. All it said was Finnish Ural, and it couldn't really distinguish, between the two. So, yeah, I'm feeling a bit of an affinity with Siberia this fine evening. So, right, I think I'll do the hellhole first then, because that's not as long. It's quite hard because I have found, and obviously Mrs. Mercury posted some stuff as well about the hellhole, those recordings being debunked. So we can talk about that and have a little bit of a chat on it, or a bit of a Rasputin in me. I don't think so, Mrs. Mercury. I don't think so. He did nothing for me. I don't care whether he was supposedly a very hypnotic character. Do you know, I often thought he was like that. Do you remember the character, the hypnotist on Little Britain? Look into the eyes, look into the eyes, don't look around the eyes, look into the eyes. You're going to fall in love with me. 1, 2, 3. Click and you're asleep. Look into the eyes, don't look around the eyes. I reckon he was like that. He tried to hypnotize people. can't remember the name of that guy, the famous hypnotist. Oh, it's killing me now. Kiss my ass. Have you worked out who anyone is? No, I haven't got a bleeding clue. And unfortunately, because I've come on quite late, at the minute, there are only three of you. There's you, Epitome. There is Princess from, well, is it UCOC or UKOK? I don't know. And Rasputin. But there is time. Derren Brown, Paul McKenna. Yeah, Derren Brown was the one who liked debunking things, but yes, it was Paul McKenna was the hypnotist. So yeah, I reckon Rasputin was a bit of one of those. I think he could do a bit of the old hypnotism, possibly. Anywho, I am going to just get myself comfy bubble, and I'm going to start to talk to you all about the first part of our live, and then we can have a bit of a natter, and then we can try and work out who people is. You see, I've actually come on, as I said before, I came on an hour later. Ice Maiden from Siberia. Oh, okay. I don't know who the Ice Maiden from Siberia is. We found in the ice? Which has actually just reminded me of something, because I also wanted at some point to do a bit of a live on Ötzi. You know, the guy who was found in the Alps. They thought at first he was a modern day hiker, and then they found out he was actually, was he Bronze Age? Neolithic. And there was all that battle with it because of where he was found, whether he belonged to Italy or Austria. And I found that story fascinating because they found he was covered in tattoos. They're like little markings, and they actually discovered that those tattoos on his body perfectly matched the acupuncture points from Chinese medicine. You know, for pain and things like that. You know, it was how did somebody, a Neolithic man from the Alps or the Alpine regions of Europe, know anything about Chinese acupuncture? But yeah, that's what they actually found on him, because he was suffering from certain ailments, and these tattoos, you know, that they matched up perfectly with where the acupuncture points would be for treating these particular like ailments, injuries, and what have you. Absolutely fascinating. Yeah. Do you know about him, Danny? I don't know if you've. I mean, we all know about him over here, but it's whether, you know, tales like that reach across the Great Divide and you know, are well known in the US. But yeah, absolutely fascinating. I remember I watched the program on that, and they were showing the old footage of when they found that body, and the fact that they did think it was a modern day hiker. So they were just like dragging him out the ice and hacking him out. And then they realized after, you know, they were actually damaging this ancient body. But yeah, absolutely fascinating. And you know, tried to get over this glacier. And he also had, he'd been shot with an arrow as well. Was it one arrow or more than one arrow? Yeah, really, really interesting story. But there is a film now. Is it on? I think it might be on Netflix, and they've tried to recreate what they think occurred with Ötzi. They've kind of made up a story of his life and death. So yeah, I think that would be quite interesting to do. So Let me see, what time are we on now? Oh, they poured hot water over. Oh, for God's sake. And let me look. So I'm guessing that picture that you've used, that's a reconstruction, is it? Oh, you don't, Danny. I mean, what a cold case that is. I mean, we're talking what a 5,000+ year-old murder mystery. Princess, and you know, I've not heard about that. I haven't heard about you, Princess. So yeah, I need to have a bit of a research. People are idiots, aren't they? Right. So let me get myself sorted. God, I've got emails coming through at the moment. Oh gosh, that's reminding me. Let me turn the volume off on my phone so I don't ping like I usually do. I've got emails coming through. I was having to sort out horse insurance earlier today. So the kind of letting me know that my paperwork is all approved. Okay. Right, I'm just getting my act together. So we shall do the hellhole. So the Russian hellhole, it's only become known as that in quite recent times. Its official name is the Kola Super Deep Borehole, Kola spelled Kola. It's known as SG-3 as well. And this was part of a scientific drilling project get my words out, Soviet Union in the Pajensky district, which was near the Russian border with Norway, and this was actually on the Kola Peninsula. So what they planned to do was to drill as deeply as possible into the Earth's crust. So they began drilling on the 24th of May 1970. They were using a Euramash 4E and later a Euramash 15,000 series drilling rig. Now, it became in 1979, so this started 1970. In 1979, it became the deepest man-made hole in history. So, and then it actually reached in 1989, it reached a depth of 40,230 feet. So it's the deepest artificial point on Earth. Now, in terms of true vertical depth, it is the deepest borehole in the world, but for 2 decades, it was also the longest borehole in terms of measured depth, until that was surpassed in 2008 by the Al Shaheen oil well in Qatar. So we'll go back to a bit of the history. So as I said, drilling began on the 24th of May 1970. Now, in 1990, a breakdown occurred. They've done like 3 holes. This breakdown, I'm going to say breakdown in inverted commas, occurred in the 3rd hole at a depth of 40,230 feet. And then the drilling of a 4th hole was started in January 1991. And then that was stopped in April 1992 at 38,983 feet. Now, these kind of carried on, and they'd stop and start and stop and start. But in 1990, this is what's caused a lot of the controversy and a lot of the mystery and the questioning about it, because of these boreholes that kept starting and stopping and starting and stopping. In 1990, the Finnish weekly Amenasiata, CNN, and other international media released news about digging a hole to hell in northern Russia. Now, this was the first time that people outside of Russia or outside of that local area had started to hear things like this. And quite a while after that, there were rumours abounding actually that, you know, they'd heard noises coming up from this borehole. Zina Kolmogorov. Hello, Zina. Let me put you up on the screen. I've absolutely butchered your name. Kolmogorov. Zina Kolmogorov. Right. Hello, hello, and welcome and good evening, all my Eastern European friends. I've not got down to guessing who anybody is yet, though. So people started to kind of hear these rumours about the hole to hell, and people who'd worked on the borehole had started, you know, things were being said outside of the workplace. And when the drilling finally ended, Russia at the time being what it was, very secretive, still not fully open now, but a lot more so than it was. But as you all remember, you know, Russia from the Cold War, pre-Cold War, and right up to the 90s was still very secretive about what they did. Well, basically, all of the buildings, the drilling rig, the machinery, was piled on top of this borehole. It was as though it was a really shit attempt at sealing it off. Now, on the back of this, you know, all these news reports from 1990 about drilling this hole to hell, there then started to circulate, quite several years after this, a recording. Now, the story on the back of this recording is that when they were drilling the deepest of these boreholes, the drill broke through into a chamber, this 12 odd thousand meters down. It broke through into the chamber, and they weren't sure what was in there, so they lowered down a heat resistant microphone, and I think they also tried to send a camera down there, you know, just to basically see what it was. Was it lava? Was it gas? Was it just, you know, a void? What, you know, whatever it was. But anyway, hi, Green Eyes. How are you, chicken? Sorry, for some reason I've just got hiccups again, just as we're talking about the hellhole. So they then sent down a microphone, and it was a heat resistant microphone, and they lowered it down, lowered it down, lowered it down, and it then eventually came out of the borehole into this chamber, which was, you know, 40 odd thousand feet down. And before it melted, because of the extremes of temperature down there, I think it was surpassing 2000 degrees. Just before this happened, the microphone managed to record 17 seconds of sound. Now, this was, as I said, Mrs. Mercury. Oh God, can you hear Porky shrieking there in the background? It's a noisy bugger. As Mrs. Mercury had pointed out to me the other day, some people have, you know, it has been attempted to be debunked. Now, when I looked that up, yes, I fully agree with that. However, I've also then found some other stories that was saying that this is kind of false flag debunking. That it's, yeah, if you get what I mean. I was trying to explain it in my own head and it just sounded completely crackers. So they basically made up a fake story to debunk the other story to make that sound like it's fake in its own right. An attempt at being clever that just confuddles the issue. So I am still going to go with the fact that this is true, and that this debunking side of things is false flag. And I'll tell you for why, because Art Bell, I don't know if any of you know him. Danny's probably heard of him out of everybody, because he's based over in the US. Some others of you may have heard of him, especially if you listen to Bigfoot stories, and David Paulides, Missing 411. But Art Bell does a podcast, did a radio show and a podcast. He's a very, very credible guy. Yes, Mrs. Mercury. Well, Art Bell has actually played the sounds that came up from the hellhole. And he has given them credibility. And as you know, if you've heard of him or you've ever listened to him, he doesn't tend to run with shite. He researches, he looks, because people trust Art Bell with the information he's coming out with, because that he will generally have researched it himself. He wants to be seen credible in his own right, and he doesn't want to be putting out information that people are then just going to go, he said a flying saucer landed on the grass of the White House and it was actually a drone. Bloody arsehole. And he's going to lose credibility. He's going to lose viewers and funding and so on. This is his living. So the fact that Art Bell has run with it, and even he has said these sounds, this recording is really disturbing. He put a warning out with it when he put it on his show. So not that I'm poo-pooing what you found, Mrs. Mercury, not by any stretch of the imagination, but because I looked into it as well a bit more after watching what you'd sent over to me. And I'm kind of going along the lines of I do think that has been false story put out to stop people looking into this any further. I don't know. What do you think? Just going to take a swig of pop while I'm waiting to see if anybody's got any thoughts on it before I carry on. Oh, go on, Princess. What idea do you have on it? Because while I'm waiting for Princess to come back, anybody who hasn't listened to those recordings, it's awful. They really are awful. You can hear it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of voices all at the same time, all crying and screaming and just agonizing. Spoken, it's quite possibly a false story. They always try to debunk and question people's credibility. Yeah, and I wondered whether. Oh, thanks, Green Eyes. Yeah, I think it's they've put this out to say, yeah, it's a fake story just to stop people questioning it and looking into it. I mean, would you like to be responsible for having opened a portal to hell and the whole world then being told about it? Because I certainly wouldn't. So yeah, this recording, like Denny said the other day when she said, I will never listen to it again. No, I won't listen to it again either. It gave me the horrors. It really did. So the senior geologist, and I was doing a little bit of looking around on this just while I'm waiting because Princess is going to write something. The senior geologist on this dig who did the borehole, his name was Yuri Smirnov. Now, he was saying, oh, bear with me a second. We'll just go Princess from Utah. Because it's a microphone, think what it would sound like when you throw a plastic bottle on the fire. The components could have been like air coming out. Yes, true. That's absolutely true. It I mean, it could be anything, couldn't it? You know, you can. I just. I think they're wrong trying to debunk that anything was recorded coming out of that hole. Now, what it was coming out of that hole, who can say? It could be. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever been up on. I used to do a lot of mountain walking and climbing. Striding Edge. I've been up there when it's been screaming hooly, just trying to get up onto the edge itself, and the noise that the wind makes coming through that rock face. That one, we were up there, and it sounded like I genuinely thought somebody had fallen down a crevice and had been lying there all night because it sounded like somebody was screaming. It was actually the wind. Now, in a cavern that deep, I mean, 40,000 plus feet below the surface of the earth, there are all sorts of gases and, I mean, maybe some gases we don't even know about that are down there. I mean, very silly to kind of open up the open up direct access to the Earth's surface, but whatever. But with heat and rushing gases, and there could be air down there, that's being generated. That could also cause noises to occur. I don't know enough about that. All I know is it was one scary effing recording, and it definitely does sound like male and female voices for those of you who've listened to it. Rocks grinding together. Yeah, that's another thing. The tectonic plates, and because of the depths that it's at, nobody knows what's down there. But I do think that the recordings are genuine. I absolutely do believe that they're genuine. Now, this was something that I found quite interesting. Just as I wrap this little bit up, because there's not really any more that we can tell you on this one, as nobody analysed the recording to see if the frequencies match human voices. I don't know, Rasputin. I couldn't find anything other than, some people have tried to clean them up. And Art Bell, when the recording that he played had been cleaned up, and you actually can hear what sounds like, I'm going to say what sounds like, male voices and female voices. That's not to say that's what they are, but he cleaned up that recording. Now, whether somebody has checked frequencies, I don't know. I would expect somebody has. There's not something that I'm into, obviously, but there are that many people, and people like Art Bell with with the equipment who are able to do something like that. Let me just have a check at. I hope there is a hell got some people, Mrs. Mercury, but it. suppose if you believe in hell, it's scary, but isn't hell a religious, made-up place? Yeah, I mean, most religions have got a dark place, haven't they, Mrs. Mercury, where, you know, if you don't do what you're told, you're going to end up here, there, or everywhere. I mean, in the my religious persuasion, if we can even call it religious persuasion, you know, hell isn't hell like the Christian version of hell, and it's the goddess Hel, which is what, you know, the goddess of the underworld. This is where the word hell came from. Let's none of us go there. No. Marie Cullen, I'd like to hear that recording. Oh, right, Marie. Oh, and hello. Nice to see you again. Has anybody, I'm going to be a really lazy bugger, has anybody got that link for the hellhole recording handy? If not, I'll try and we can drop it for Marie to have a listen to. Oh, I've just realised, Marie, you're not blue. Oh, hang on. We need to sort that out. Can't be in me chat and not be a mod. Right, let's have a sort out. Just give me 1 second, Miss. Not bloody sorted as usual. Right, let's see if I can get Marie. Right, Marie. Oh, Xena Coleman. No, you're not. Let's sort Xena out. There you go. Right, so Marie and Xena, next time you type, you should find yourselves blue, part of the blue crew. You should have blue cloaks of power. Now, I've just had... Oh, that's what I was going to do. So I was trying to find the recording. So, let me just see. Oh my God, can you all hear Porky laughing? Oh, Green Eyes has done it. Thank you, Green Eyes. I was just trying to find it. Thank you. There you go, Marie. You're now part of the blue crew. And as you can just see above, Green Eyes has popped the link in. If you click on that and listen to it, that apparently that's the noises that were brought up from the hellhole. I don't want to listen to it again. It was, yeah, not great. So as I said, with the you know, having looked at... Oh, sorry, I've not finished off what I was going to say then. Yeah, so I was just talking about Yuri Smirnov, who was the lead geologist. Now, he went back to the, you know, where they dug the hole on the Kola Peninsula, and he had a lot to say about the fact that, you know, there was all this like rare machinery and you know, the yes, you're now blue, Xena. You should have a little wrench at the side of your name. Don't let the power go to your head. And he was saying, you know, that all of this machinery, all this rare equipment, expensive stuff, it just left. The buildings pulled down and just left. It was weird. And when he was on his way through, he was, because they filmed him going back to this site, and he said something quite telling. This is what I was going to end up with. So whether we think this was the hole to hell or not, he actually said there's a chemical element in the periodic table called nickel. And we all know, I should know because I'm allergic to nickel, but anyway. And in that particular area, they mine for nickel. So they've named the little town after it. So they've named it Nickel. And he said, back then, everybody who lived here was really, really religious. He said, so they called the town Nickel, and they were very, very stupid because in that area of Russia, that name means devil. Make of that what you will. But, and he wasn't debunking, he wasn't saying, no, this devil, this hellhole isn't true. All he said, he didn't say it was true, but he didn't say it wasn't. But he did make this reference to that town being named Nickel and the fact that nickel means devil. And I was like, okay. Do you know something we don't? And he's just been very careful about what he says. But as I said, he was the lead geologist. And the fact that he didn't bring up anything about, you know, the noises or, you know, like we've talked about, maybe there were gases or, you know, it could have been shifting plates and rocks or what have you in this cavern. He didn't mention any of that. You know, this is a geologist, a very, very, very clever man. He just decides to refer to the periodic table and the fact that nickel means devil in that area of Russia. So I think on that note, I shall leave the SG3 borehole story there. I'll finish off calling it that rather than the hellhole because I don't want to give anybody nightmares. But I don't know if anybody wants to discuss anything on that before I go on to my next story, which is the I can't say it tonight, the Tunguska event. There'll be less Russian nickel about for the new electric cars. Well, I got told, get this, I mean, I'm probably behind the times and you'll all already know this, but my friend was telling me that at the moment it's cheaper to try buying a brand new car than it is to buy a second-hand car because they can't get the chips for the new cars. And her nephew went to buy a car, and this second-hand car was £800 a month, and the salesman was trying to get him to sign up for a new car, albeit on a waiting list, because the new car would only cost £400 a month. There'll be less of Russia left at all the way they're going. Well, that's true, Mrs. Mercury. There's another one that's been burning for years. It's full of methane. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, Princess? That's why I think I'm getting an absolute steal. I've been offered a car. Well, offered as in I'm going to have to buy it, but it's an absolute steal. And I'm thinking, we could probably sell it for 3 times what I'm going to pay for it. But not far from where I've just moved from, there is a big, they're actually building a bit of a retail park. And there is, there's a basically where all the trucks, you know, like the transportation depot, shall we say. But even though the retail park hasn't opened yet, it's not even been built yet, there are hundreds of trucks parked up, and I'm thinking, why are they there? Why are they not driving all around here, there, and everywhere? And it's because I found out these are brand new trucks, and none of them have got any chips in them because you can't get hold of them. So, one of my friends said it's because of all these fuckwits who voted for Brexit, and I was like, yeah, I was one of them, but whatever. Couldn't get new internet. Oh, really? Perhaps another asteroid will smash over the Kremlin. Well, Zena, this will take us into our next story. because Tunguska. Now, I know a few people have said they hadn't heard about this. Took me 6 months to wait for a chip in my new one. Really? Oh my goodness. I should have kept hold of my old Land Rover, shouldn't I? That didn't even have any flipping electric components in the engine. It was just basic bog standard diesel. Same as how electric cars are not green due to the lithium they use. That's absolutely right, Green Eyes. Absolutely right. They come from China, the chips. And what's that thing? I forget what it's called. They dig it up in... Marie Cullen, I've just listened to the recording. It certainly sounds like voices to me. Doesn't it, Marie? And can you hear the difference? It sounds like men and women, but I found the male sounding voices more scary. To hear men, what sounds like men crying out like that, yeah, I just found that more disturbing, but maybe that's just me. But yeah, there's something that they dig up. It's in Africa, and they have oh, excuse me. They have these like mines, and they dig up this. I don't know whether it's an element or what, but they dig it up, and it's for use for batteries for your mobile phones. And they've got these real poverty-struck Africans. A lot of them are children as well, who are doing this mining. But I can't remember what it's called. Ross Kemp covered it like a few years ago. He went out there and he was covering these mines and the poverty that people were living in. Best off with an old banger. They can track your every move in your car. Oh, well, Big Brother's always watching, Green Eyes. Yeah, that's definitely disturbing. Yeah, Marie, it's a real weird one, isn't it? A real weird one. And I guess we're never going to know exactly, if it's true or not. But I'm all for capping it off. And like the geologist said, there was no reason to have, why dump all that very expensive and rare equipment and machinery? Why not take it somewhere else and use it? Why was everything left? It's like everything was just, pull the buildings down, pile everything on top of that borehole and do one. Even he was completely perplexed about why. What a waste. What a waste of money and equipment that could have been used that, obviously was quite difficult to come by, because he said it was rare stuff. But anyway, what do we know? Right. So let us go on to our Tunguska. Right. So the Tunguska River Basin. Oh, sorry, hang on. So just have a look, Green Eyes. We had shortages of urea. They put it in fuel over here in trucks. They let all production go to China. Piss. Maria, I don't think I wouldn't stick around either, Marie. But, why did they leave all the machinery? Did they think it was cursed or something? Or was it just the fact that, can you imagine if something came up out of that hole while you're there working? Oh, no way. It's just it was just me being silly. I've just read a good book. It's along the same lines, but they let a virus out from under the earth. Oh, I tell you what is good, Green Eyes. It's along those lines. Have you watched Fortitude? It was on Sky Atlantic. I was taking the mickey. I know it's urea. That's why I said piss. Well, Fortitude, God, I loved that series. It was so addictive. And I think, I'm trying to think, is it on 3 seasons? I think now, but it the very first season, you've got to give it a chance, because it's a bit, the first couple of episodes are a little bit all over the place because they're trying to get the backstory in. But stick with it. So anybody who hasn't watched it, if you do, you might find it tedious the first episode or two. Please stick with it because it's brilliant. And again, that is, I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't watched it. It starts with they find a mammoth carcass. The ice starts to thaw. This is a little town up in the Arctic Circle called Fortitude. And the glacier, yes, Green Ice, Fortitude. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It's great. And that's how it starts off. This mammoth carcass starts to thaw out of the ice. And what ensues following that, and what's in it, in the carcass, and what comes out of the ice as it starts to melt, I think you'll find that fascinating. People who like a touch of the historic with the supernatural. It's, yeah, it's very, very good. Very good, if I may say so myself. Oh, what's the legend, Princess? Because I haven't heard that. Would you like to tell us? And while I'm waiting, because I'd like to hear what this legend is for the Princess from Newcock, or I could have a little look, couldn't I? I missed everything you just said. My Wi-Fi dropped out. Oh, right. Okay, Green Eyes. No, I was just saying Fortitude. It's too long tonight. Have a look. Right, yeah, will do. Will do, because I could always cover that again, couldn't I, Princess? I love these. I love stories and legends. Green Eyes, yeah, Fortitude. It starts off with them finding a mammoth carcass that starts to thaw out. The glacier begins to thaw, and this mammoth carcass is exposed, and the whole story is around what comes out of the ice with the mammoth carcass and what ensues. And what I said was, it's on three seasons. The first season, the first couple of episodes, give it a go. You might find it, they seem to try and cram in, and they're jumping all over the place, and it gets a little bit confusing and a little bit tedious, but they're trying to give you kind of backstories. It will all gel together. Give it a go, because I'm glad I stuck with it, because I could not stop watching it. It's brilliant. Bit of the supernatural to it as well, but not ghosts, just other things. But yeah, please do. And that goes for anybody. Right. I'm going to now get on to Tunguska. Princess from Newcock, you were dug up in 1993. Oh, brilliant. Oh, you'll love it, Green Eyes. And Sheriff Dan. We'll let Kiss cover it another week and you'll be... Oh, right. Brilliant, Princess. Yes, I will definitely look into that. Definitely. But yeah, as Green Eyes has just checked, Fortitude, anybody who hasn't watched it, because I know most of you guys like things along those lines. Please watch it. It was great, absolutely great. I loved it. So, Tunguska, we're going back to 1908. Dun, dun, dun. It was, I think it was the 30th of June, I think, in 1908. I do know that it was at 17 minutes past 7 in the morning. Now, how I'm going to start this off is that there was, hey Kame, hey everyone, hope you're well. I'm listening, but probably going to fall asleep soon and bushwhacked. Oh, hiya, Denny love, how are you? Well, I'm going to tell the story of the Tunguska event, so this might nod you off to sleep. We've done the hellhole. I probably myself am not going to get as far as getting Dyatlov done tonight, because I'm knackered. We went out for dinner and I stuffed my face. And as you can hear, I keep yawning. But I am going to plod on and we're going to cover Tunguska. So, I'll start this story off with, there's an old chap and he was sitting on his front porch. So it's a nice summer morning. He's having his drink of coffee, he's having his smoke of his pipe, and he's sitting on a chair outside. And all of a sudden, he's hit by a blast. His chair and him are picked up and thrown backwards a good distance. And when he kind of comes to his, because he's knocked a little bit, bog-eyed, when he starts coming to his senses, he feels like he's on fire. He's not, but he's burning, absolutely burning. And what is crazy is that this guy was 40 miles away from where what I'm going to talk about now, this explosion had occurred. So he's 40 miles away. He's knocked off his chair and he feels like he's burning. Okay. So it occurred in the Tunguska River Basin. There was all sorts of things happened this particular morning. So this old fella was chucked off his chair. They reckon there were some fatalities. There were some of local native people who had witnessed this, the air on fire in the north. They again described this feeling that the skin was on fire. People being knocked over. There were windows shattered for hundreds of miles, around this blast. There were shock waves. So all across Europe, it was hitting 5.0 on the Richter scale, and nobody at the time knew where this was coming from. They thought it was an earthquake initially. And then the other strange thing was that for weeks after this incident had occurred, the night sky was as bright as anything. It was illuminated for weeks, and people were able, there were reports that people were able to read their newspapers in the middle of the night. It was so bright. And this was from London to as far as Asia. So whatever had happened was, it was absolutely significant. I have to go. Enjoy the rest of the evening's live. Oh, night, epitome. And thank you for dropping in. It's probably not going to be that long because I am absolutely bushed myself. And before you go, I have to have a little guess because I hadn't guessed anybody's names. If I was going to guess at you, I would say, could that possibly be Sheila? I would say if it was Sheila or Paula. But I'm going to go for Sheila. Willy Whacker. Here we've got a Willy Whacker. Hey ho. Willy Whacker or Tallywhacker. Welcome, welcome. Let's see what picture you've got up there, Willy Whacker. Hopefully it's not of a Willy being whacked. Just waiting for this to come up on my screen. Oh, it's a nice beach view. Lovely. I don't know where that is though, but it looks very pretty. So I should go back to what was actually happening. So nobody knew where, what was causing this illuminated night skies, what had caused this shattering of windows for hundreds of miles. And obviously, what this had actually occurred in a very sparsely populated area of Siberia. And the people who had witnessed something going on in the sky, these were simple people. Don't forget, this is 1908. They didn't have phones. They were tribespeople who were living pretty much a very, very basic, a basic existence. So they would have just observed this, and the word they did think that it was one of the gods that was, casting a bit of retribution on on mankind. So it wasn't something that they would think to report. They wouldn't phone the police, they wouldn't go to the nearest town and report it. It was just something that they observed. The gods were a bit pissed off, and that was that. Now, by the time all these incidences and things that were happening were put together, and scientists realized something significant had occurred, and they kind of narrowed down the area to, where this possibly had occurred. They narrowed it down and they came up with this area around the Tunguska River Basin. But it was another 20 years before they could actually get an expedition up to go out there and investigate this particular area and to see if they could find any signs of what had happened 20 years earlier. Now, out they went. It took them quite a while to get there because, as I said, it was a very remote area of Siberia, heavily forested area. But when they got there, they were in absolute shock at what they found, because even 20 years on, they discovered there had been 83 million trees had been felled in a circular radius. So you imagine, it's a bit like a flattened flower, when you've got one of those, well, say, for example, you've got a rose, a rose starts off quite tight, and then as it's getting older and it starts to open out. And this is how, these trees had gone down from a central point outwards, 83 million trees. And this was in a radius of over 600 miles. So this is, it's significant. And the other weird thing was that at the center of this circular tree devastation, if you will, the trees were still upright. So only in the center though, but the trees were upright. However, they had been burned to a crisp and they'd been stripped of all the branches and all the bark. So it was just basically a trunk that had been incinerated, but only in the middle. There were nothing else, just in the very center, they were still standing upright. So that was quite bizarre. Now, what they thought was, well, what most scientists have thought was, it would have either been a comet or a meteorite. and I'm saying we're going through this first before I go on to other realms of possibility, but they reckon it was either a comet or a meteorite. Now, the difference is, to try and make it as easy as possible, a comet is a chunk of ice and rock that originates from outer space, and it leaves a trail of solid debris. So think about Halley's Comet, you know, and it's the comet and it leaves a big trail behind it. So that's your comet. The meteorite, a meteorite is a fragment of a meteoroid or asteroid. And that is something that then passes through Earth's atmosphere. So the general consensus of the scientific community is that it was more than likely a meteorite rather than a comet. Now, they've been able to work out that it was 200 feet wide. So this particular meteorite was 200 feet wide. It would have, I just found these little bits of information so fascinating. 200 feet wide, it would have weighed over 220 million pounds. Now, it entered our atmosphere at 33,000 miles an hour. Can you imagine that? 33,000 miles an hour. Now, yeah, it is big, Zena. It's bigger than Rasputin's schlong, which was getting a good mention before. So when it came in at 33,000 miles an hour, as it sped towards the surface of the Earth, and those of you who've done physics, you might remember all of this, but it then started that it encountered pushback friction from our atmosphere. So the pushback friction, coupled with the forward motion of 33,000 miles per hour, that then started to heat things up, and it heated this meteorite up to over 45,000 degrees. It's when you think 33,000 miles an hour coming in and 45,000 degrees temperature. Wow. So now the theory goes that at that point, you know, when it reached that temperature, it exploded. And it sent out a shock wave in a butterfly pattern. Now, what you need to do is try and, this is why I get so awestruck with this, try to imagine an explosion that was so powerful that it exploded miles above the surface of the Earth, but still managed to register as a 5.0 on the Richter scale. Just imagine that. Now, although they're relatively rare, astronomers reckon that this type of event happens every 300 years or so. Dorothy's floppy beef curtains. Hello, hello. Welcome. Keep those curtains flapping. I'm just trying to see what your picture is, and I can't make it out. I know this sounds weird. From my angle here, it looks like a condom on a foot. I don't mean like pulled over a foot. I mean just placed on a foot. So I don't know if you'd like to enlighten me as to what, what that actually is. Oh, gosh. Dorothy's floppy beef. Oh, my goodness. That has got, oh, gosh, who do we reckon this is? Dorothy's floppy beef curtains. It is a condom in the palm of some. Is it? Oh, actually, hang on. Floppy beef curtains. You haven't got a wrench. Wait a secondo. Let me sort you out with a wrench before I finish off my little story. Now, has the condom in the palm of someone's hand got any particular significance, Mrs. Flappy Beef Curtains? Or was it just for comic effect? There you go, you should be all muddied up. How is the old Flappy Beef Curtain anyway? Have things gone a bit quiet in that regard at the moment? I walked the dog down to the park before, and I don't know whether someone had been saving them up. Oh, it's just for comedic effect. Well, thank you very much. Can you do a quick recap? Bloody Wi-Fi is up and down like a prize knickers. Yeah, what would you like? What did you hear up to, Green Eyes? And I can go back. Because I can, obviously I don't want to bore everybody with all the facts if they've already heard them and you've heard them as well. Right, we have to work out who's Dorothy's Flappy Beef Curtains. About the travel. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so it enters the Earth's atmosphere at 33,000 miles an hour. And then I said, and as it sped towards the surface of the Earth, it encountered the pushback friction effect of our atmosphere. So it's got the pushback. So that's coming from one direction. It's coming at 33,000 miles from the other. And that heated it up to over 45,000 degrees. Hi, Captain Spaulding. How are you doing today? We're just covering the Tunguska event, that weird explosion in 1908 over Siberia. Just in case you may have heard of it, but a lot of people haven't. And we did the Russian hellhole to start off. But I'm not going to get to cover Dyatlov tonight. I'm going to have to do that another night. Oh, good to hear, Captain Spaulding. Well, Princess, this is the thought. It didn't actually connect. This is one of the theories, and I'm being very specific in that I'm saying that. Green Eyes, hi Captain Spaulding. Loved your live the other night when you were talking about Cobain. Oh, I've missed that one, Green Eyes. Yeah, can I just say, if anybody's not subbed into Captain Spaulding Records Revisited, give him a sub. Cracking channel. Especially if you're into music. They like having a bit of a chit chat, and I listen in. I don't know enough to join in, and I thought if I open my trap, I'll just make a fool out myself. Scary to think that Tunguska is only estimated at 20 to 30 megatons only. Well, actually, Zena, this is the funny well, not even funny. They reckon the force of that blast, whatever caused it, was 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima. So you imagine 1,000 Hiroshima bombs all going off at the same time, and they reckon that still wouldn't have been as powerful as whatever happened or whatever exploded over or at Tunguska. Well, I'll try, Zena. I'll try to keep myself awake. It's just I'm absolutely shattered. We went out for a meal and it was an all you can eat. and I ate all I could eat, and oh God, you know when you just get the food sweats? That's why I had to knock it back an hour tonight. We should have been coming live at 8, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to make 8 o'clock. I had to knock it back to 9. So what I might do is come back on Monday and do Dyatlov, just specifically do Dyatlov on its own. Because I can't come on tomorrow because it's Porky's birthday, and I won't come on the day after because it's my birthday. So, and we're going out for the day. We're going meeting mother of Porky and sister of Porky, because it's Mother's Day as well, isn't it, here? So we'll wait for the explosion while we are listening. Well, Zena, if I do Dyatlov, I need to give it its proper respectful coverage, don't I, rather than me yawning halfway through it. And I knew that flipping name. Do you know what? That shows how tired I am, doesn't it? Oh gosh. Let me just. Oh, flipping it. Sorry about this. I'm just having a few technical difficulties with my phone here. I've lost my screen. I can't see anything. If I cut myself off, I will be back. Oh, flipping Nora. Right. Let's see. All right. Okay. That looks like it's working again. Okie dokie. What if this was you're listening? Happy birthday weekend. Have fun. Oh, thank you, Princess. Thank you, Green Eyes. Well, this is. So if I can't, I'll just carry on with this last little bit, and then we can see what you reckon, because when I've just said about the astronomers saying that oh sorry, I was doing the catch up for Green Eyes, wasn't I? So when I said that it's got that pushback effect, and that's then caused it to heat up to 45,000 degrees. At the point it did that, it then exploded, and this is what the experts reckon. It exploded, and that sent out a shockwave in a butterfly pattern. Now, as I was saying before, I asked everyone to imagine an explosion that is so powerful that even though it's exploded miles above the Earth's surface, it still managed to register 5.0 on the Richter scale across Europe. I mean, what the actual F? Now, as I just got back onto, just as I'd started talking about this, just as Green Eyes had asked for a quick recap, astronomers reckon that although they're rare, that this type of event can happen every 300 years or so. So a heartwarming thought is that, there's one coming in the not too distant future. But, and this was something that I remembered watching quite a while ago. Does anybody remember the videos that were going around on YouTube? And I can try and find one and post them. And it was back in 2013, and it showed this massive meteor in the sky above Russia. It was caught on a lot of dash cams, you know, and security cameras. It was a massive meteor that was coming through the sky. It was, I mean, I'd have been terrified. It showed this blinding light, and then it seemed to vanish. And then the next minute, there was a massive explosion. Well, apparently this did the same thing. This also exploded before it hit the ground. And this is what the base in Tunguska on. You know, they're using this as a comparison and saying, well, remember that there were hundreds. Yes, yeah. And that meteor wasn't as big as the Tunguska. Yeah, there were green eyes, there were hundreds, yeah. There were a lot of videos, weren't there, in office buildings and so on, and it showed the windows blast and people being thrown across the room and what have you. So it's, yeah, it I remember watching that and thinking, well, I was actually terrified watching it, and I thought, oh my God, imagine if you're just driving along and you see this thing coming. I'd have thought the end of the world was nigh, you know. So because of what happened there, and you know, you may have seen the video where you hear that almighty bang, because there was like a couple of bangs, weren't there, that went off. And going off that is then what they started to base what happened at Tunguska on, because one thing that they noticed back in 1927 when they did that first expedition out there to try and see what had happened 20 years earlier was that there was, because they'd already thought, yes, it's probably a meteor, but they didn't find any craters. Now, they were trying to say there was a lake that was there, and they were saying, oh, this lake was caused, this was the meteor. And the locals were going, no, that lake's been there for donkey's years, for like forever. So it was there long before this thing happened. So no, try again. And because there was no crater from a meteor strike, this then started off a lot of speculation as to what it actually was. So there were all sorts of theories. There were the stories of an alien craft having landed, and it was powered by nuclear, some form of nuclear power. And because of the devastation in the forest at Tunguska, it looked very, very strange, and it looked like there had been a massive bomb gone off, and people were likening it to what would have happened in the event of a nuclear bomb going off, or an atom bomb, or what have you. Princess, yes. Did they say we have one orbiting now and it gets close? They call it a second moon. Oh yes, I know. Do you know what? I don't even want to look at that, Princess, because I'll start panicking. I know they were saying it wasn't going to hit us. It's a close call, but it wasn't going to hit us. But you know, who can say? I wonder if it could be aliens. It could be an alien craft disguised as a meteorite. But that was one of the stories, and then it became Tesla. So Nikola Tesla, I can't say his name, Tesla, and that he had invented a death ray, and that this was one of his test sites. So that was another one of the theories that or facts people were putting them out as, that this is what had happened. So for years and years and years, there was so much speculation as to what it would have been. It being a meteor kind of faded into the background, and it was only after the 2013 meteor had occurred, and you know, they realized that, yeah, this didn't leave a crater either, because it exploded in the air. It exploded before, even though it looked like it was quite close to the ground. It wasn't. It was still very, very high up, and it had a similar effect, not as dramatic and not as devastating as Tunguska, but it showed what. So then people were like, ah, well, that's what happened at Tunguska. It exploded. Uranium experiments. Yeah, yes, Rasputin, all sorts of things. I can't even tell you how many different theories that there are as to what actually went on at Tunguska. It's, I mean, and if any of you have ever seen the photographs of it, it's just such a, the eerie, the photographs in the forest with all these trees, the naked trees. So they've lost all the branches, they've lost all the bark, and they're all lying flat down, apart from the ones in the very, very center. Now, as I said, this is a 600-mile circle. It's a radius of 600 miles. And there are 83 million trees that have been flattened like this. It's the most bizarre thing you'll ever see. It's weird. But it's always in Siberia. They're the weirdest things. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't a meteor, because that, to me, seems the most plausible explanation. But again, I'm going off the fact that, yes, we saw this one happen in 2013. If that hadn't happened, would I find it as easy to accept the meteor explanation? Probably not, because I would be maybe a mothership. Well, yeah, but the thing is, Princess, that has also been put, you know, a gigantic alien spacecraft, and that, you know, the downdraft as it took off to go back to, you know, from whence it came, was what caused this 600 miles of flattened trees from this huge mothership. So, you know, you're joking, but that has actually been put forward. Thank goodness, really. Enough space and no people. How did experts explain the polar mint effect on the trees? Just caused by the, you know, just by the blast. I suppose a bit like a pyroclastic, have I said that right? Blast, you know, from volcanoes. Just the sheer force and the heat, and that's what's but what I find weird, Mrs. Mercury, is how those trees in the very center stayed standing. Everything else flattened, but those in the very center, why? I mean, does anybody know? I don't personally. I would expect it would have something to do with the center of the blast if it was in the air, but I don't know, so I will bow to somebody else's greater expertise. Yeah, like I said, I'm not like a vortex. Yeah, it's just weird, isn't it? Is that like the eye of the storm thing? That's what I was wondering, Rasputin. Was it because that was the very epicenter and just the blast radiated out from that? But by the same token, if something is so many miles up, wouldn't, I'm thinking out loud and probably chatting shit, but I'll just go with it. Wouldn't that kind of dilute that effect if you're so many hundreds, you know, not hundreds, but so many miles up? Like if you were in closer proximity to the ground, so say 100 feet up, yeah, that eye of the storm thing that you refer to there, yes, that's going to be very evident, isn't it? But the further away you get, doesn't that then become less and less and less of a thing? Because the blast, well, I don't know. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up. Looking at photos of trees in the centre are really tall. Well, are they? Well, they possibly are, yeah, because I mean, you know, that forest has been there forever. Or are they just looking really tall because of the fact that everything else is flattened? I suppose it's what your class is really tall. You know, if they're comparatively tall to the rest of the trees in the forest, or are they just normal height trees? But I suppose if you compare them with the redwood forest in California, then they're not that tall, actually. They're just really weird, though, aren't they? The fact that they're just these pointed, bare, naked tree trunks, and there's nothing. And I think the fact that the photos as well, because man and dog in the photo, it gave it a tubs for. Right, okay. I think as well the photographs, because they're the black and white, it gives it an even more bleak appearance, doesn't it? Or is that just me? Now, give me 1 second, Princess, because I had actually done a search for that earlier. I've just got to try and find my notes. Now, what I could find was that, but this was from, it was somebody who was trying to debunk it being, you know, saying it basically wasn't an asteroid or a comet core. And they have said that it actually was accompanied, the concentration of energy when this exploded was approaching that of a nuclear explosion, which we know that, you know, with the megatonnage. And that this explosion was accompanied by ionizing radiation and radioactive fallout. So yes, there was. Now, what's really weird is that, oh yeah, sorry, Zine, I've just noticed then that we photos in 1938 and 30 years after the event. I mean, it's when you see, there's one of the photos that one of the photos that I found the bleak, or just really bleak. It's kind of, you're looking at a slope and the slope goes up to the left, and it's got trees, some trees standing upright. This is what I couldn't get a grip of, and I don't know what anybody else thinks if you've seen the photographs, but there's trees or the remains of trees standing up, and some of these trees look pretty puny. You know, they're not particularly wide trunked, but yet in between these weedy trees that are still standing upright are some big, like, hefty, and you know, 4, 5, 6 times the circumference of these little weedy ones that have held the ground and stayed stood up. And these huge trees are actually fallen down all around them. I couldn't understand that, why some would, some would fall when they're huge and some would, stay upright even though they're a fraction of the size. Now, I've just found when I was saying there was a 600-mile radius of, these trees felled, there's actually NASA had actually given some details about this as well. It was 800 square miles of forest was devastated by this. Now, oh my God, let's just have a look. Fir trees, yeah, I think I'm looking at the same. Isn't it weird? The new ones might be saplings grown since. Yeah, but they still look bare. They still look really, really bare, Princess. Like there's no branches on them or anything. They look in the same fettle as the other ones. Very, very strange. And it was described, Mr. Putrid Bolsky. Hello, Putrid. How are you? I mean, it was described as looking at a forest of telegraph poles. That had been how it had been described at one point. So, yeah, very, very weird. I mean, they were saying that, were the looking at the forests around Hiroshima, they were actually showing a very similar pattern to what was in Tunguska. Now, I'm just trying to find, bear with me for 1 second. Oh, right, here we go. So, at a height of, so when I was talking before about it being heated up to like 45,000 degrees, when it was at a height of about 28,000 feet, the combination of pressure and heat caused the asteroid to fragment and annihilate itself, producing a fireball and releasing energy equivalent to about 185 Hiroshima bombs. You can't even, can you? Absolutely crackers. So I think in answer to Princess's question, yes, there was radiation. Yeah, no, exactly. Wow, indeed. I just find it so fascinating. It was one of those stories I heard, I think it was when I was a kid. I'd actually heard about this. And I can't remember if it was on, if I can't even remember if it was on a program or what have you, or what the program was, but I was just like, oh my goodness. Because I was thinking it was all sorts of weird and wonderful things, It was because I'd heard the spaceship theory and now, Ah, this is that thing on Tesla. Right. Now, the dino meteor caused the trees to petrify from the heat, not just burn. Yeah, well, this is it. Some of these in Tunguska, Princess, actually look petrified. I think if you were in the other night when I was mentioning it, saying I wanted to cover it, that I said some of these trees were petrified. Very, very weird. I'm reading if St. Helena blew and wiped out Europe, it with the same energy, all natural. Well, it's like oh, what's it called? You know what they reckon caused the loss of Atlantis? Because I do think Atlantis was a real place. I don't think it was, you know, the underwater like Aquaman thing, but I think it was a very wealthy and advanced society that was lost due to an environmental disaster. And a lot of people, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Santorini in Greece. And well, I have, and there is the most beautiful, like arch-shaped bay, and the beach, the sand is black, and it's volcanic, and that's why the sand is black. And when you look at the bay, and the shape of it, you think it's this lovely, beautiful curved, you know, beach. It's actually the rim of an extinct volcano's crater, and it's massive, massive. And there've been theories put forward that this would have actually been, you know, it was far bigger than Krakatoa, and this is one of the theories that's been put forward, that this would have caused absolute devastation at the time and the time period that people reckoned Atlantis, you know, was actually active, and that this this volcano, when it erupted, would have been or could have been responsible for, you know, the loss of particular civilizations around the world. You know, where one minute there were people here, there, and wherever, and then nobody's got any trace of them anymore. Just for example, let's say the Easter Islands. I'm not saying that was because of this, but you know, it's just a comparison to use. I like the idea that it was in the Sahara. It's called the Eye of the Sahara. What, Atlantis green eyes? Now, I'm just going to read to you the bits about Nikola Tesla, because I found a really interesting article, which was about Tesla's possible connection to the Tunguska explosion. And as I mentioned, one theory is that Tesla's experiments with, well, this was like with wireless transmissions, may have inadvertently caused the explosions. Trying to Google map my way to the blast site, but it's not letting me. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't. Do you think it would be there? Do you think you would be able to find it, Zena? I wonder if it's like that one in the Arctic, though, where you can't see anything now anyway. So, Nikola Tesla, he was testing some sort of weird phantasmagorical communication device or super scary energy weapon or death ray, and made a big oopsie. Now, Tesla was known to be working on a sort of wireless torpedo called a teletomaton, which was a remote-controlled boat he offered to the US Navy, and that was for the purpose of carrying explosives to naval targets. An airborne version of the teleautomaton device was under development as well. Now, some also believe that if there was a Tesla connection and it was a weapon test, that he may have been pressured into it and then kept quiet. But this is, of course, just heaping extra drama onto a theory already wrought with ridiculousness. So even though the 1908 timeframe does not match up for Tesla working on such devices, for him to be testing out such inventions in such an apocalyptic manner is quite a stretch, not to mention he was nowhere near the area at the time. So I think we can put the Tesla connection to Tunguska to bed. Tesla was an amazing person. If we could meet anyone person, it would be my pick. Would he? Oh, you see, I don't know who. I think mine, I probably would want to meet I'd probably want to meet Richard III, if I'm honest. I was going to mention energy weapon, but we're not allowed to talk about such things in relation to 9. Right, okay, okie dokie. I get ya. Maybe something moved the earth and what was underwater came up and what was on top went under, as our axle is now. That's why we have deserts. Well, I read something really interesting. It was quite sad as well, Princess, but it was really interesting. And it was about swallows. And, you know, they come over to the UK every year and then in the autumn away they go. And it's not just swallows as well. It's like house martins and swifts. They all do it. Now, they set off and they are going to Africa. But part of their journey, a huge part of their journey, involves crossing the Sahara Desert. And, you know, many of them die of heat exhaustion and starvation and thirst along that stretch. And for a long time, people were like, with stupid birds, why are they choosing to fly? Because they could actually fly another direction and still get to the same place they need to, but to have places to eat and drink and rest on the way. And a biologist had actually come up and said, well, what they're doing is they're following, you know, their instinct is telling them to go to, you know, use the route that has been used since the dawn of time, and that was crossing the Sahara. However, eons ago, the Sahara was not a desert. It was a very fertile land. There were trees, there was water, there were places that they could rest up. So these little birds, they don't know why they're being drawn in that one direction, but you know, it's a compulsion and they have to do it. It's the brains are telling them this is the direction you need to go, but they're going on the basis that the Sahara is not a barren wasteland. It is or should be a very fertile, green and pleasant land. So yeah, I thought that was quite sad. Poor little dicky birds. Looking through it today, it looks very green and lush. Well, I mean, it's been over 100 years now, hasn't it? What, 114 years? But it was, I mean, look at Chernobyl, though. I mean, how long ago was that? 40 years ago? And you know the devastation that's occurred there, but, you know, everything's coming back green and lush. And it's like reforestation. Everything is going, you know, it's reverting back to how it should be if people weren't around. I think that was all I had on that one. Radioactive still so high. Have you watched that program, The Radioactive Wolves of Chernobyl? That was really, and I want to well, I mean, what's the half-life? It's hundreds of years, isn't it? But yet there's that old biddy living there, isn't there? Still, who will not move. Everybody else has died or gone, and she's just there on a jack. Poor old lady. Now, just a little question, because, and this was why I got a little bit thrown, because I knew that the name was, hang on a minute. I knew, oh God, there were loads of women who went back, all still alive, about 40 or 50 of them. It's crazy, isn't it? I was just going to say, because, you know, when, because I recognised your name, but then I was thinking, oh, it must be something else. But I didn't, because I'm just looking back through my notes now, and I was like, no, I've got Zinaida. Now, yeah, Zena's probably short, but I've got Kolmogorova. So there must be, I wonder if it's a bit like the Scandinavian way, you know, you'll say names a certain way, depending what you're meaning on that particular day. And also, I know in some countries, I don't know if Russia is one of them, but names can kind of alter slightly depending on the age that you are. So you've got like your adult version of the name, like older adult, and then you have a younger version of your name, you know, like with an add an A on the end of it, or a U or an E or something like that. But I think she was 22's no flipping age at all, is it? I sorry about this. All I can hear is Porky through the flipping wall. And he's putting me off. Right. I'll start again. Right. So, Zinaida, she was she was one of the ones that died from hypothermia. She was found under the tree, wasn't she? And I read something about her in one of the many articles that it looked like she was trying to get back to the tent. she was trying to head back to the tent. She was found the closest to it. I don't know if there's any truth in that. I don't know if anybody, obviously the most stunning one. I don't know if anybody else has heard that theory or not. Because, and this was what I found funny with her autopsy, because it just goes again. Obviously, Green Eyes will be able to, or Simples, if Simples is in, even though you can't give yourself away if you are. But I just found this, I shouldn't have laughed, but you know, when you snigger at something, because she was one, they said that she had a minor traumatic brain injury. And I'm like, right, a traumatic brain injury is just traumatic. It's not minor, it's traumatic. If it's that bad that they've got to say it's a traumatic brain injury, don't try and diffuse it by saying minor. That was just what made me chuckle. And they were putting that down to the hypothermia, reckoning that she'd had convulsions just before she died and hit her head on something. She fell in between the tent and the cedar tree, laying on her right side. No such thing as a minor traumatic brain injury, you're right. I know it's, you see, there are so many anomalies with these flipping autopsy reports, Green Eyes. You know, like they were saying the injuries that these kids suffered were what you would expect from like that, you know, the trauma in a major traffic collision. Just, yeah, just unreal. But yeah, that one, that never sat right with me. Minor traumatic brain injury. Come on, give us some more details, please. Like she'd been plunged upward, forced to a nose into a face. Yeah, I do not think, would you, well, obviously you can tell us as it happened to you. Did that happen while you were having convulsions due to hypothermia? I personally think not. But what do I know? Absolutely green. Yeah. It's like weasel words, isn't it? When you're reading these reports. And well, it's also, it's very similar to the David Paulides stuff, you know, with the missing 411. And you'll have the coroners and they'll put, you know, they can't determine a cause of death. Yeah, I don't think so either, Zena. That's not, you know, personally, if you think about it, if you're maybe having convulsions, say, so I would guess that at this point you're on the floor. So she's suffering from hypothermia. She's lied down or she's curled in a ball or trying to keep herself warm, whatever. But she's on the floor. Now, if you are convulsing and you're not restrained in any way, then yes, your head could be flying around, but I would expect your nose to be smashed from, you know, the bridge of your nose or either side, not kind of up and yeah. But that's just me, you know, there's nothing to say that that couldn't have happened. More likely you would bite your tongue off. Oh gosh, yeah. Frozen motion. I'd love to know the coroner, the guy who performed these autopsies and who wrote the reports. I would love to know if he had any familial connections to the KGB or the Russian military at that time. That I think would be quite interesting, because I think that would have had some play on what was written in these autopsies. It's about as ridiculous as the JFK autopsy with the magic bullets. So yeah, I think what I want to do is on Monday, because I think that's probably going to be my easiest day. Monday is to do a real deep dive into Dyatlov. Yes, however, the death following autopsy photos are very graphic. Those photographs are absolutely vile, aren't they? You know, they had them all in that room waiting for him to thaw out. And that was the other thing as well. I don't know if you noticed it, right? So, you know, when people burn to death, Zena, because you obviously know a great deal about Dyatlov, which is great. And other people will be aware of this. So when somebody is in a fire, when they burn to death, if they're not tied down, so they're not burnt at the stake, they go into this pugilistic stance. So because the muscles and the tendons, because of the heat, contract, and they have this boxer's stance. So their arms are usually drawn up and look like they're going to start punching. And that's what happens with, you know, with extreme heat. Now, Zena and anybody else who's seen the photographs of these bodies waiting to thaw out, have you noticed that some of them are in that pugilistic stance, but there was no heat there, was there? It was what was it, minus 30, minus 40? Is that something that would also happen with extreme temperatures in the opposite direction? So we know that pugilistic stance will occur in extreme heat, you know, extreme temperatures like that, you know, of heat. But would the same thing occur in extremes of low temperature? I'm not a doctor, so because I often wondered why they were like that, because it wasn't even just that they were curled up. Yeah, but why, Zena? That pose, those poses are ones I would expect from a fire. I mean, you know, they're not all like that, but it just something that got me thinking one time, and I was like, okay. You know, if you see the imagine so as the muscles are contracted, but you never hear the Rasputin. You never hear that pugilistic stance being described for victims of hypothermia. You know that, you know, when they've suffered death due to hypothermia. It's just quite weird. Probably it happens in normal death as well. Go back to the fetal position. Well, that's it. You go to the fetal position, but you don't go into that hand grasped stance. If you see where I'm going with it. It's just me. I'm just thinking out loud. I just found it very weird, and I thought, were they kind of exposed to extreme? Because this is the other thing as well, okay? Given, and just humour me for a second, guys. Given we know how cold it was, right? That they all came out of that tent in like knickers and bras, no socks, no shoes for most of them, definitely no coats. They had nothing warm on, and they went flying out of that tent. Now, yeah, they were possibly frightened by something, but to the extent that they're going to go out in those extreme low temperatures, which they know means they're going to be dead within a matter of minutes. And because of those poses that some of them were found in, I thought, and the fact that they went out of that tent wearing like flipping knickers and whatnot, had some of them, was there some extreme temperature occurring, temperature rise occurring prior to them all taking off out the tent? Yeah, well, Zena did, but I'm thinking, was this kind of after the fact, whatever had happened? And, there was a couple of them that were trying to take other, clothing and put it on themselves and burning their extremities on the fire, trying to, keep themselves warm because they just couldn't feel the fingers and toes anymore. No problem, Green Eyes. But the others are, well, not all of them, but some of the others are. So it was just one of those little links, and I thought, could that be why they all came out just wearing underwear? There was some extreme temperature, and that did kind of affect a couple of them prior to them dying, and then obviously the others, whatever this extreme heat source was, vanished. And then they all started to, they realised, shit, we're outside of the tent with nothing on, with no torch, we don't know how to get back to where the warm clothing is. Shit, let's try and light a fire and rob whatever clothing we can off our dead comrades. It's just one of those. I couldn't understand it. And yeah, like I said, just humour me on that one, but that was just my thoughts, and I don't know what anybody else thinks about it, and I'm really, really open to any suggestions and any other theories, or batter mine to pieces. I really don't mind. It was just I had a head full of thoughts about it. But yeah, I want to, because I know that a couple of times we've kind of partially discussed Dyatlov, and what I really want to do is the wind in three directions, similar expeditions in the 1990s, one survivor. What, the wind causing the heat, or could a wild animal like a bear have crawled in with them? I really don't know, Princess. However, there's also theories of the menk, which is a local word for I don't know, Bigfoot type creature, be it a yeti, I don't know, but they call it the menk in that area in the Urals. Apparently, it lives up the mountain of the dead, which is where they were. Yeah, Mr. Balsky, there were lots of little cuts all over the tent from the inside, so at kind of eye height. So it was as though they were all looking out at different areas around the tent, so that somebody could see, what the hell they were looking for, I don't know. And when they actually exited the tent, it wasn't through the door, it was they slashed the tent open and they got out through a rip in the tent. And off they ran in the direction of the woods. And that was weird, wasn't it? Because, you know, they've just basically done away with the only way of possibly staving off death due to hypothermia. You know, they've compromised the safe haven, if you will. But, you know, the Mansi tribe, who were basically taken in by, you know, the Russian military and treated horrendously because they thought that they'd kill these kids. They were telling them to stay away from that mountain. You know, they were trying to warn them not to go up there. And the Mansi definitely knew something. It wasn't anything to do with them, but I think they knew something wasn't right up there. Now, whether it was the Russian military, whether it was a Menk, whether it was UFOs, I don't know. But they knew something wasn't right up there, and they were trying to stop these kids going up that mountain. 1993, there was a similar Dyatlov hike. Was this? They were in a panic, ball ski. It was like blind panic. Was that the one in America, Zena, or another one in Russia? Because I know that there's one that they call the American Dyatlov. It's one survivor who describes the actions, self-violence, etc. Oh, right. Whereabouts was that one then, Zena? Because I need to have a look into that. Can you hear Porky singing? I don't know if my microphone's picking him up. Oh, in Siberia. Right, Zane, I'm going to have a little look at that one then. And was that into the Urals again? He's singing about poo. He was singing that to me last night, actually. It didn't half make me laugh. It was on about doing a trump. He was trying to trump on me, but he was singing and he was saying he was gonna do a poo with no lumps. That's what he calls a pump. They weren't safe in the tent, so left fast, if not even dressed. Sasquatch cover up. It very well could be, Princess. It very well could be. There is a very good documentary in fact, it's on YouTube. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can find it. And I'll post the link because let me just get it. And this is a guy, I think he's American, and he teams up with a Russian journalist who acts as an interpreter. And they are looking at because he's been fascinated by Mr. Futurable. And Hamadaban Mountains. Thank you, Zane. I'm going to have a little look into that. I'm just going to find this. And then I'll post the link. think it was called something like the Russian Yeti, the Killer Lives. Oh, here we go. Found it. So, I think this is it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I found it. So this link is well worth a watch. That I'm just about to post. So that's quite an interesting documentary. And they go and they actually they meet people who knew these kids. Well, apparently they'd heard noises, haven't they? But the thing is, there is actually a figure that is seen when they have they go through the photographs that they'd been taking, and because they'd obviously been filming and taking photographs, and the negatives were still held. And when these have been developed, there is actually a very strange figure watching them from the tree line, and quite a lot of people have said they think that this is possibly a Yeti, or it could be somebody in a snowsuit. But yeah, apparently they'd seen they'd heard noises, they'd seen lights in the sky. I think this was the day before or 2 days before they'd actually all died. Definitely something going on, but it's just that whole cutting little eye holes all the way around the tent, so that they were all, I think that was so that every single one of them was at eye holes, you know, so that they were looking, you know, they had a full 360-degree cover. It could have been a selfie, however, it just doesn't look. It's a bit strange, Zine. Have you seen that photograph? G.I. Joe. Ha! You just got the top of my, you got the top of my head then. I dropped my phone. Expedition is very near a prison camp. Now, did you read? Oh, sorry, read. Did you watch that film? Oh, they interviewed a couple of guys who had been on the search party for them, and they found, you see, when you're saying about this prison camp and it's not being mentioned, because they found boots, didn't they? Those Russian military boots, where the tent was collapsed, and when, you know, when they found that initially, which the boots didn't belong to any members of, you know, the skiing party. Do you think maybe somebody had escaped from the prison camp? The problem was the Russians were just so shady, weren't they? You know, if they hadn't been so closed about things, and if they'd been more willing to talk about things, there wouldn't be all these theories flying around. You know, you might have said, well, yeah, this was X, Y, or Z, and this is what happened, but you think it was the wind. Gonna have to watch some more of this tomorrow. I saw a film of this. Well, that link I've just posted, Rasputin, that's quite an interesting one to watch, because that guy goes and he talks to the Mansi tribe. He speaks to a couple of the guys who were part of the rescue party. He goes along to the cemetery on a Memorial Day and meets friends of, you know, people who were at university with these guys who died. He goes along to, well, it's like the Dyatlov, it's like a society, and they are holding a lot of the information and the belongings, such as the photographs and the negatives and so on, of the kids. But then he also speaks to a guy who is into the whole Yeti side of things, and they end up they have to employ a hunter to go out with them. I think they kept it so hushed due to nuclear testing. These kids were all nuclear trained at Russian specialist university, top teens. Save the link, looks very interesting. Kiss, we'll watch it tomorrow. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, yeah, it's been a little bit hammed up in spots, but for the most part, the information is actually very, very interesting. So I might actually watch it when I'm going to bed tonight. So as I said, what I want to do, and if you're all up for it, is on Monday. I just want to devote Monday to going through Dyatlov. If we go through, because we've done, I don't think there's any point in going through, and I don't know what you all think, but personally, I don't think there's any point going through the trip again, which we've done, you know, from start to finish, and from, you know, them setting off to what happened here, there, and everywhere. I would rather focus on the finding of the bodies, the autopsies, you know, what was on the photographs, what they found, where they found it, and contemporary reports. I don't think Xena is Frida. I think I'm not sure with Xena now. Initially, I thought Xena was Sheila, but I'm not sure. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of, because I'd rather bounce stuff around with, you know, because I've got my own thoughts, and it's interesting discussing things, and then, you know, such as Zena's going, well, no, I think it was this, and I like doing that, and it'll give me another perspective. But I'm just not swallowing what they've said. And also, don't forget as well, there's that other whole thing about one of the members of the team allegedly being a spy, shall we say, in hiding. Oh, you're not Frida either. Well, I'm not Frida either, Rasputin. I wonder if Rasputin is possibly Russian spies spying on the hiking spies. I honestly don't know, but you know that when they exhumed that guy's body, now I think we've discussed this once before, they his DNA, he actually wasn't related to any of his so-called family. It was gruesome. That was horrendous. But yeah, again, they now I did say, well, you know, he could have been adopted and nobody knew. You know, maybe that might have been a bit of a family secret and nobody knew he'd been adopted, which would explain why his DNA didn't match any of the family. But yeah, there was that persistent story that he was hiding under another's identity. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was only invited by Yuri from the campsite. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark, as far as I'm aware, or as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, how do you fancy that deep dive into autopsies? Discoveries of the campsite, discoveries of the bodies, the transportation and thawing, etc., of said bodies, followed by autopsies, followed by reports, followed by strange anomalies and strange things, such as what we've just discussed then about somebody apparently being somebody that they're not, maybe. So that's how I would like to do it, because I think everybody does the usual when they're talking about Dyatlov. They start off and they go through the hike, and I've done it myself, going through the hike and what they did on this day, what they did on that day. You know, then one of the members was feeling ill, so they buggered off and went home, and everybody covers that bit, and then they'll kind of skim through the autopsy side of things. But that's the bit I'd like to focus on, because I just think it's a lot of it is shit. And I want to look into this winds thing as well. Right, okie doke. So let's try and have a guess of who everybody is then, because I'm going to save that for Monday, and I will schedule it in so that we've got going to have to revise for this on Monday. yeah, there'll be a pop quiz. There'll be a bit of a pop quiz. But yeah, if you just look up some of the Dyatlov, like the autopsies and what have you, and especially if you look at some of the photographs, you'll see what we were talking about, the injuries. I mean, one of the girls' eyes and tongue had been removed, and yeah, weird. But again, one of the other funny things, I know I'm going to talk about this on Monday, but the fact that they'd found a deer carcass. It was a day or two prior to their own deaths, but that also had I mean, it was a fresh kill, but the only thing that was out of this deer was that his tongue had been torn out. And then the same thing happened to this girl. Coincidence? I think not. Right, Mr. Putrid Balsky. Let's guess at... What do we reckon? Putrid Bullski, I think, is... Oh... Captain Spaulding. And then Xena. Oh, you think Cassius? No, not enough typos to be Cassius. Xena, I was wondering if you might be Julia. And Princess... Okie dokie. Oh, you're not Julia either. Rasputin saying Sid. It was Mr. Bolsky Sid. Randy, Roger in Rasputin. Could you be Starlight? Starlight, star bright, the star I see tonight. Bedtime clown for Mr. Bolsky. Okay. Oh God, I'm not doing good on this one, am I? Princess from Newcock. Who's this then? Yeah, unfortunately, I did have to sing a little bit of Madonna. Xena, are you Sid? I'm trying to think who knows a lot about Dyatlov. No, I don't think you are Sid, are you? Who knows a lot about Dyatlov? So you're not Sheila. Lady Witch, Princess from Newcock. Oh! I was thinking that Princess might have been Meadow. Xena, could you be Simples? Bloody hellfire. I'm going to be here all week. You know, usually I get a pretty good handle. But not tonight. Oh, frig's sake. Right, hang on. I think Mr. Putrid Bolsky, I think that's Frida. We're all doing really shit, aren't we? No, I think Putrid Bolsky, I think, is Frida. I think who else have we got? See, I'm forgetting who I've. I think. Have we still got? Because before we had was Willy Whacker still in? Because I was gonna say Tallywhacker, because I meant to say I thought Willy Whacker, Kiss Well Done, You Were Right, was trying so hard not to give myself away. No, do you know, Frida? Do you know why? And you haven't as possibly, but I looked and I'm thinking, Mr. Putrid Bolsky, Mr. Who would, and I don't know why the Bolsky. I don't know. Bolsky made me think of you, so it was a pure guess because you haven't, because your typing didn't. But I just thought I'm just going to say Frida because I know you're in here. But that was a name. I nearly thought Putrid Bolsky was something that I thought would have been Porky, but I know he's not in here tonight. Right, I've got to try and guess the rest of your buggers now, haven't I? Right. Randy, Roger in Rasputin. We've got to work Randy, Roger in Rasputin out now, haven't we? Give me 1 second. I'm all right, lovey. Thank you. I'll get one in a moment. Cooper, get off. I was just being offered a drink. Going down the... Yeah, well, I thought you might have been Porky, but... Randy Rock. Have we had Randy, Roger and Rasputin? I think Randy, Roger and Rasputin. I'm going to go for Simples. Or have we had that one already? Have we guessed Simples for that? Just having to go back, lady, and see who's guessed what. Oh, you've guessed Simple. Oh no, you guessed Simples was Princess. Yeah, I think Randy, Roger. Oh yay! Right, we've got Simples and Frida. Okay. Princess from Newcock. Oh my goodness. Princess from Newcock. I don't know. Come on, guys. Help me out. Help me out. Give us a clue. Let's see. Right, who do we think? Princess from Newcock. So we've guessed. We tried to guess. Did we have Sheila for that one? I'm thinking. Who have we got to guess now? So we've got to find out. Princess. So Xena and Princess. They're the only two left we've got to find. I know it, but you're doing really good here, Princess, because I am struggling. Oh, it's going to drive me mad, this now. You know, I'm going to throw a tantrum in a minute. Yay, you're back. Oh, so Princess is Sheila. Okay. I'm trying to think who we've guessed for you so far, Princess. Has to be somebody glamorous, likes gold, perfumes, good food, and all sorts of treasures. So it's not Sheila. It's not so I guessed I thought Starlight. So we've had Starlight, Sheila. Who else did we guess for Princess? Lady Witch. We guessed Lady Witch as well, didn't we? Oh yes, of course, Brianna. Could that be Brianna? I think the Willy Whacker was who's obviously gone now, but I think that possibly was Burren. Zena's throwing me though here. Zena Colmo. Oh God. What about Jules? We should have the Jules kit should be in. Do you know what, Simples? I've not seen Shazza in here for ages. Oh, you just give me a clue. Let's have a look. Where is me? Oh, Green Eyes, you think it's Julia? I just give you a clue. I caught up. Or Voodoo Queen. Oh, was it Julia? Oh, flipping heck. You got me good one as well there. Zena, are you Meadow? You're Julia. Brilliant. Welcome back, Julia. Oh, you're not Meadow. Oh, flipping heck. Right, we need to find out. Yes, you certainly did, Green Eyes. I've only got 2 tonight. Zena's got us all. So who have we not? It's not Helen, is it? So we know it's not Lady Witch. We know it's not. And it's not Meadow. My goodness. We've just got Xena left, I think, now. Well, we had Willy Whacker who's gone, but I think Willy Whacker might have been Burren Witch. I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, we just need to find out who Xena is now. And it's somebody who knows a lot about Dyatlov. Oh, 3D Shield's gone. He's still allowed to have it, you know. Forever. Oh, you think that Xena might be Mirror Man? I do not know. Is it Mirror Man? Nope. This is going to be a crippler, isn't it? Oh, yes. I never thought about Rain Dancer. Oh, how terrible am I? And it's definitely not Sid. Oh, you think it might be Denny? Oh yeah. Oh, well, no, she was in, though, wasn't she? But she was going to sleep. And I think Xena was in before Denny showed up. Nope, not Sid or Denny. And you're not Meadow. And you're not... Is it Kathy? Oh, no, I don't think you're Kathy. No, I'll take that one back. Hmm. God, I've gone through everybody. I thought, oh, Joe Mardre. Oh, I never thought of Joe. Or who else have we got? Kolmogorov. Oh, flipping heck. I'm trying to think about who knows about Dyatlov when we've discussed it before. Do you think? I think Raven would have given it away, though, because she types so sweetly. And watch, this will be proved wrong. So we've got Simples. No, it's not. It's definitely not Porky Green Eyes. He's not even watching tonight. He's playing his game. So it's not. So let's go through the usual suspects. It's not Joe Mardre. It's not Mirror Man. It isn't. It's not Porky. It's not Sheila. It isn't Lady Witch. It's not Meadow. It's not Starlight. It's not Voodoo Queen or Bedtime Clown or Cassius. It's not Helen Happy Thoughts. No, it's not Helen either. It's not Anne, is it? Could it be Anne by any chance? Anne Westwood? Danny After... Oh, could it be Danny After Dark? Oh, and it's not Did we guess Captain Spaulding for that? No, it's not Anne. I've not seen Anne about for a while, actually. Has anybody seen her? And it's not Danny. Oh, God. Burren. I'm not. I think Burren was in earlier under. It could be Burren, though, with a different alt. I haven't got a bleeding clue. I'm really, really stumped now. Cassius might be going down the feminine. No. I surprise you. Right. Oh my goodness. Well, whoever you are tonight, you've actually earned yourself a shield because you're the last man standing and you've got us all knackered. Right. Oh God. And do you know what? This'll be somebody really, really obvious and we'll all kick ourselves. It's not Kai. Oh, is it Kylie? Kai Beeley? Who else? Or Eternal Flame? Or oh, who the bloody hell are you? I know who you are. Alan. You're gonna have a shield. You can have a shield for beating the channel. Okay, you're not Alan. Right, we've got that one then. You're not you're always about I know, but you see, I would have thought, because usually last man standing ends up being Meadow, but you've said you're not Meadow. Yeah, it's absolutely going to get a shield for that one, Frida. Shield for life. Julia's asking, are you Alice? Always about. Brilliant. No. Oh my goodness. Right, we need another clue. So it's not Brianna, it isn't Meadow, it's not Kathy, it's not Starlight. Always in bams and nuffs. Oh, it's not JC, is it? Do you mean Ragnar? Not Dagna. No. Well, now you weren't a mod in here, so I'm reckoning. Had you not been in here before though, chatting? Because I always give everybody I always mod people up. Unless you're just somebody who slipped through the net and I forgot to do it and meant to. Mama Rat. Whoa, Lisa. Oh no, Whoa, Lisa was a mod already, wasn't she? I'd have said, let's have a look. Mama Rat. Who else goes in bam bam bams? Oh, see, I feel bad now because it's obviously somebody who I did. Is it Paul? Are you a double D? Eh? Oh my goodness. Oh, come on, guys, you need to help us out here. Right, so this is somebody who go... No, I don't know Double D. No, I don't either, Zena. Is it... Oh, no, see, it won't be Shirl, because Shirl's got a... So, Carrie, Lani, and Shirl, but they've all got wrenches, so it's none of them. Or Helen, it's not Helen. And it's obviously not Nuff. Whoever it is, I was very, very naughty and hadn't given you a wrench, but you've obviously been in here before. No, because Nuff had a wrench. I had to give Zena a wrench, Green Eyes. So it's somebody I hadn't modded up. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to work it out. That's what I'm saying. It's somebody who's obviously, if they've been in chat, then I've meant to mod them up and forgot. Or hadn't been in chat but have been in the chat. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I think Marie kind of listens in rather than joins in. So it was nice to see her jump in the chat tonight. But yeah, the minute I see people in, normally I'll give them a wrench straight away. And it's not Sid. And is it Simples? I was trying to think who I hadn't seen here. Simples Meerkat. Thinking of someone new. It could have been my son, but I don't go on those sites. I'm usually working. That's my clue. So the one I think about who's working would be Shazza, but Shazza's got a wrench, and Voodoo who's working, but Voodoo's got a wrench. Darzen? Oh, not new at all. No, Raven's got a wrench, Frida. Not Dar. Not Raven. Oh, this is gonna do my bloody nut in. Right. Think not having a wrench is a red herring. Yes, because it could be an alt, couldn't it? Just to throw us off the scent. I've named it. I know, and I've still not guessed who you are. Unless it's the Bam 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 herself. Are we done? Have we given up, everybody? Somebody said bedtime before and got a no, Frida. No, it's not Bam. Okay. Oh. What do we think, guys? Do we want to keep guessing? I can't think of any more either, Green Eyes, but I don't like being beaten. And I know it's going to be somebody. Oh, for God's sake, Fern! Oh, man! Oh, even Cooper's going to bark at me now. How... Was that your normal account, Fern? Because if it was, then how the heck have I not given you a wrench? Flipping Nora. Right, well, do you know what? You must have come in and I've meant to give you the wrench and just totally forgotten about it. I'm so sorry, but you're wrenched up now. Oh, well, I'm made up to see you, love. And to meet another Dyatlov aficionado. Oh, well, you're not white anymore, you're blue. You're part of the blue crew. It's probably because what happens is, Fern, I can't, when I'm on my phone, I can't mod people up. I have to wait till I've come offline. But tonight, I've actually got my tablet plugged in. So I've opened up my live on my tablet as well, and I can do you from there. So that's why you went blue mid-chat. Oh, it's great to see you, chicken. Because I think the last time I saw you, hadn't people been I don't know which. I think there were other channels. Oh, I think I know where it was. I'm not going to mention names, but I think people were being a bit horrible with you, weren't they? About being on different channels, and I was getting really pissed off about that. So yeah, no, I'm glad you come in here. Lovely to see you. And I hope that that has all stopped now, wherever you were getting that cack from, because it's not fair. Can you guys hear him through the wall? The minute I say it, he shuts up. Trying to talk, then I can hear him howling, laughing, and then he starts singing. Oh, it's still on. I'm still doing Summer Wells. All right, okie dokie. Well, the thing is, though, Fern, you know, you come in here and hey, don't forget to change your name back out. You'll be going into chat saying hi to everyone. They'll be like, "Who is this Russian person?" Because I forgot who it was. Was it Helen? It was somebody forgot to change the name back, didn't they? And they were going into chats as like something like Dorothy's saggy flu or something. Yeah, put your shield after your name, Fern. You're a shield maiden. Yeah, don't forget. But when he changes you back, put your shield like Frida's there. Because we've got a few. Once you get your shield in here, you get to keep it. I have a band of shield maiden. But yeah, like I said, you know, we none of that goes on in here. So if you're getting cack anywhere else, please come in here. Oh yeah, who was Dorothy's saggy beef curtains? They went out. I think that was might have been Sheila. I've got absolutely no idea. But usually if it's beef curtains, it tends to be Sheila or Lady Witch. But I think Lady Witch was Dot's Dusty Clangers. Dot's Dusty Clanger. The funniest one though, Fern, and I think everybody else will probably agree. I think I mean, tonight's been quite quiet really, but the funniest Incognito night was the alien one. And oh my God, I can't remember laughing. I mean, we were laughing that Viking one where we started talking about the sauna, and it just deteriorated from there. It just went where we were screaming. But yeah, Cassius's name was the alien's probe was stinking. And then didn't Meadow come in as E.T.'s brown finger? That night was one of the funniest ever. It really was. I loved it. I think we need another alien night though, because they seem to be the funniest. Oh gosh. Absolutely crackers. And I'm feeling really remiss because I've kind of finished the flipping Viking series halfway through and just not got back onto it. And yeah, but obviously I didn't think I was going to be moving house and all the associated drama that went with it. So I will get my act together, but Monday definitely. Oh, she's back. Hey, Fern. Get your shield, get your shield. Then we know who yous are. I want a full army of shield maiden. And we've got a couple of sword danes as well. Who've we got? I'm trying to think who the sword danes were. We've got Mirrorman is one, and Dennis Kenga is one, isn't he? And I'm sure we have another. I'm sure we've got another sword dane. Can't remember, but anyway, shield maidens were kind of ruling the roost at the moment. Oh, Frida might be able to help you with that one. Fern. I think you just put it when you've put your name, you type your name in. You know, if you go in to change your name, but then you just put the symbol for the. Yeah, I think Cassius might be a sword dame, Frida. Can you help Fern how to put the shield after a name? I think you just put the symbol, the emoji, after you've typed your name in, Fern, and then it comes up. But I think we've got 4 or 5 shield maidens in here now. Well, yeah, you did really well because you completely threw us all, which is great. Well, you've got a full week to think up, or rather, probably till Wednesday, to think up a topic for the next Incognito night. And I'm not sure what to do it on because I think the alien ones tend to be the funniest, don't they? And they seem to get the most people. More people tend to come in for those, don't they? Because they really like the alien stories and the Dogman encounter stories as well. Oh, there you go, Fern. Go to search in emoticon for shield. Oh, your son's gone now. Oh, don't worry, chicken. But if you can't do it, but yeah, Frida is our technical wizard. Yeah, I'm thinking either Alien or Dogman for next Fridays. Unless something crops up in the meantime. But I'm going to look up the story that Fern suggested. And I'm also going to look up the Siberian Ice Princess story that Julia has mentioned. Well, you're more technical wizard than me, Frida, so, you know, just take it. Because if you're still in chat, because everybody was saying the other day, I know you'd missed it, because I came on a little bit last minute and impromptu, but all the chat was saying that they really enjoyed your son coming up. So, you know, and your stories. So if we can, we'd really like it if, you know, you and your son can come back up another time, tell some more of his stories. Sheila was asking about it. Frida was, Green Eyes. Who else was asking about it? What the hell? What noise is it? Oh, yeah, Julia. Was saying, if you wouldn't mind, would you and your son come up again sometime if we do another paranormal-ish night? Because everyone was really fascinated with his stories. If he'd be willing to tell them again, you know, or tell you know, others in more depth. I don't know if you were around, Fern, for that one, but it was really interesting. Yes, Fern, you've done it. Hang on. I'm going to put you on the screen so you can see. That you are now our newest and most shiny shield maiden. Well, I've tried to put you on my screen. Why is it not going up? Oh, there you go. You have your shield. Wear it with pride. Green Eyes actually has a shield as well, but her phone won't let her do it. He's had his wisdom teeth out today. Do you want me to try the Ice Maiden story? Well, yeah, if we do that, should we do that next week? In fact, there we go. How does this grab you all? For next Incognito night, if we do it on Friday, let's have icy stories. So if Julia's free and can come and tell her the Ice Maiden story, I can always go through Utsi. You know, the ice mummy that was found up in the Alps, and the one I was telling you about before with the tattoos and things on him. So maybe we have a bit of an icy theme. What do you reckon? Obviously, it will depend if Julia's free. Oh, bear with me a second. I've left my fag at the other end of the bed. Give me one sec. Oh. Right, I'm back. Do you know, I keep starting to go to giggle about that flipping song he was singing last night. It's not funny to everybody, but oh, I've just realised it's his birthday. Oh, she's got tattoos as well. Ah, like I said, Utsi had the tattoos, although his were the, well, they weren't all. He had other tattoos as well that were a bit tribal, but he had tattoos which were the acupuncture points, Chinese medicine acupuncture points. Weird. Right, I think that's where we're going to go then, guys and gals. Next Friday, we'll have an icy theme and we'll get the lovely Julia to come up and tell the story of the Siberian Ice Princess. And I can tell you about Utsi. And then if we've got any more icy type stories. Oh, actually, that would fit in then, because what about, yeah, the ice mummy's Fern. And I was just going to say then, because Green Eyes and Simples, it'll be the first Julia. Yeah, I just realised, Frida, it's his birthday. In fact, hang on one moment, guys. I will be straight back. Well, actually, I'll be straight back if I can find my damn pen. Dog, move. Right. I'm going to try and It is Frida. It's his birthday today now, and then it's mine tomorrow. So, but because he's doing his streaming, his live streaming, I can't shout. So I'm just writing him a note that I'm going to waft round the door. But but because he's going to be, it goes on camera, and they can see his green screen. So what I've done is I've done a sign, because they don't know how old he is or young he is. So, but I've actually done a sign going happy 60th birthday. So they'll see it on his camera. Oh, thank you, Frida. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to go and waft this round the door of his office. Give me 2 ticks, guys. I got him. Oh, dear me. Oh, thank you, Julia. I knocked on the door, because I don't just go in because he has the camera on, you see, and I don't want people seeing me in my pyjamas appearing. So, so he went, hola. So just stuck my arm through the door with happy 60th birthday. Shut up, you. Sorry, the dogs are yapping. So he'll probably have loads of people on there now going, oh my God, you don't look like you're 60. I've caused a world of shit. But he did laugh. I'll tell you what is funny, though, the fact that his flipping birthday present got delivered, only it got delivered and I wasn't here. So it's gone back to the damn post office. So I'm going to have to go and try and get it in the morning. I was like, oh, for God's sake. Absolute nut. Right, you can join me downstairs while I go to make myself a cup of tea. No, he didn't throw something at me. He just started giggling. But now he's got the really awkward, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to start answering these questions off everybody. I'm such a troublemaker. I'll tell you what, these flipping stairs are steep in this house. And today we met a little friend on the park. Oh, yesterday was the best. Well, I'll tell you this bit first. Met a little friend on the park for Cooper. The little dog called Milo. So we're going to meet and have a little walk. So that's going to be kind of his first friend here. And yesterday, oh my God, it was the craziest thing ever. So I went down to Stanley Park, which is in Blackpool. And it's where there's it's a big beautiful Victorian park, and the zoo's there, and it's not far from the hospital. It's got like huge bowling greens and everything. Huge park. It's lovely, and the old bandstands and a great big lake and whatnot. Going out for a nice meal to celebrate. No, we went out tonight, Frida. We went out for a meal tonight, and then tomorrow we're at home, and then Sunday we're going over to visit his mum because it's Mother's Day. So Sunday being my birthday and it's Mother's Day. So we're going over, and his mum lives in Rossendale. So we're going over there. So I'm presuming there'll be something to eat. So it's going to be quite daunting because I'm going to be meeting all of his family for the first time. So no pressure. Well, I need to make some cake, Fern. I was going to make him a cake, but he really wants, his absolute favourite is Mandarin cheesecake. Go figure. But so in the morning when I'm going to go and walk the dog, sort the horses out, and then I'm going to call and get him the stuff to make him a cheesecake, because apparently he's going to go and pay a visit to the barbers and get scalped tomorrow. So while he's out, I shall make him this cake without him knowing, and I'll try and make something wonderful for dinner tomorrow. Do you know what? I don't know, Fern. I'm not sure. I was thinking that because I don't want to go too dressed up, but I don't want to go scruffy. So I don't know. I really don't know. It depends on the weather as well, because it's absolutely boiling here at the moment. I put a pair of jeans on before to nip to the farm, and I was sweating. And the last thing you want to do meeting somebody's family sitting there sweating like a pig. So it might be a frock. Yeah, well, I have got tinned mandarins in, Fern, so I'm thinking of, yes. I suppose you can get fresh ones this time of year, can't you? But I have got tinned mandarins, so that's what I was thinking. Just tell me again, as I forgot what you want. The story. Sorry, brain freeze. What, the story from you, Julia? The one about the princess, the ice princess. You were saying there was a legend connected to the ice princess. But if obviously, and as and when your son can come up whenever he's free, if he can tell us some more of his his experiences, because a lot of people were really interested about that time loss that he had with his friend. Very nice. Son taking me out for dinner on Sunday for Mother's. Daughter can come. Oh no. That's awful. Everybody's getting the bloody COVID at the minute. I mean, I suppose the other thing as well is that we'll have to do a lateral flow test on Sunday morning before we do anything else, because Porky's stepdad is on palliative care now for he's got cancer. So we obviously don't want to rock up if any of us, because his immune system is gash. So we don't want to rock up any of us with the COVID. So I suppose as well, so that's going to be that little visit is going to be COVID dependent as well. Well, Frida, listen, today, I was going to say tomorrow, but I actually mean today, I am going to make some of those cocktails you were telling us about, the Guinness ones. However, I don't have Guinness in, but I do have Mackey's. So I'm thinking of making them with Mackey's, because I love Mackey's stout. Just had flu. Everyone around me has COVID, but our house has flu. Oh, well, we were talking the other night, Frida, about the flu. And I was saying I've only had it once. Green Eyes was saying she was really poorly with it. I've only had it once. I never want it again. I would, do you know what? I would rather go through appendicitis again and have my appendix rupture again than get flu. Because I always thought at that point, I thought when my appendix went, I would never feel anything as bad as that, but no. I even, when I snapped my damn ankle and tried walking on it without realising it was broken, even that didn't feel as bad as having the flu. No, I haven't watched it yet, Frida. I just went on your recommendations and I'm making it with Mackie's. So I might do my own variation though. I'm thinking Mackesons, I'm thinking whiskey, I'm thinking a big shot of Bailey's, and then obviously the condensed milk. I'm thinking ice, and it's all going in the blender. Oh, green eyes has she got? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you. Well, that's been a long time coming, hasn't it, chicken? Is it 3 years since you've seen your mum? Cooper, get off. Oh, for God's sake. Go on, little bugger. He's trying to get up on the dining table for some reason. Frida, if I make it in bulk, I'll drink it in bulk, love. Trust me. Because I love a Mackesons, I love Bailey's, I love single malt, and I love, well, we call it sticky milk, condensed milk, conny, as they call it in Liverpool, but we call it sticky milk. Everything I like in one glass. It ain't going to be given chance to go cold anywhere. That's just going to be straight down. £12,000. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm going to make you really sick now, Green Eyes. So when I came over to Australia for the first time, and there was me and my friend, and we were coming over cattle class. Well, at the time, my friend worked for, oh God, the dog's got a squeaky toy, sorry. My friend worked for the airline that we were travelling on, and she was head of that particular airline in the UK. And I said, is there what you can do for us? We paid the grand sum of 60 quid each, and we were upgraded to business class for our flight to Australia. Get that? It was brilliant. However, we could play, they had roulette. You could play it. There was a screen in the business class where you were sitting. There was like a screen where you could play like the version of online roulette with your credit card. Oh, I got addicted to playing it. I can't even tell you. My credit card bill, ouch. I know, mandarin cheese. Well, he can eat that himself because I can't have mandarins. But yeah, mandarin cheesecake and stout cocktails, courtesy of the lovely Frida, because I would have never heard of these otherwise. Oh gosh, yeah, of course. The backs have a lot to answer for. Wouldn't you think, though, that they would have certain, providing you can come with medical proof, that there would be a certain number of seats in cattle class that would accommodate people such as yourself with a bad back? Princess from Ukok, it absolutely was a real bargain. I tell you, we nearly died, and I found out at the time. Well, as you've just seen with Green Eyes, there can be thousands of pounds for a business class. So, and it cost us like relatively nothing. I was absolutely gutted when she stopped working for that airline. I was, oh yeah, tortured. Oh, I will do. If well, like I said, I am going to make them. What I might do is I'll get him to film it while I'm making them, and then we can drink them. We can do a Jackson Porky live special drinking cocktails. Only problem is I've got to be really easy on him because I don't drink. Well, look what happened when I went to York. You know, you heard the tale of that, and he was telling everyone I'm not allowed to drink ever again. So I'm wondering whether he might pull the plug on it. But they just sound too nice to not try. And I want to do it this weekend because, oh my God, since, you know, I was saying I'd put half a stone on since packing in smoking. And I was thinking that wasn't too bad. Well, this is horrendous. In the last 2 weeks, doing this house move, and you would think that running around and lugging stuff and being stressed out, I would have been dropping the weight. No, I've put another half a stone. So I'm a stone heavier than I was at Christmas. So I'm like, right, fuck this. So as of Monday, you can't diet on your birthday, but Monday morning, that's it, straight back on my keto. When I was doing a repatriation a couple of years ago, got upgraded to first class. Having a shower on a plane is the oddest. Oh, really? You see, all I remember is these were back in my drinking days. We got absolutely fucking mullered on that flight, me and my mate. Mullered. I'm playing this online casino thing with my credit card, just like, well, let's gamble more shit. I was buying shit like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. I was made up because I could more or less lie down. It was wonderful. And it didn't help because when we got off the plane, we were mooing at everybody, you know, because I always call it cattle class because that's how I always travel. Because we were pissed. We were mooing at people getting out of economy class. All bent double because they'd spent like 24 hours sitting in the cheap seats. Which I would have been if my mate hadn't worked for the airline. So, you know, it's not that I'm well off or anything because I'm not. The bar at the back of the Emirates planes are fantastic. Got a shit face when we flew over 3 years ago. Yeah. Well, I was like getting ready to pay for drinks, and they were like, "Oh no, the drinks are included." I'm like, "Fucking hell!" Just put a drip in my arm and keep feeding me champagne and well, it wasn't champagne. I don't like that, but you know, you get the idea. I was drinking a really nice single malt. Then I went on to what was I drinking? Hang on. Drambuie, that was it, which I didn't like, but my mate was like, we'll get really pissed dead quick on this stuff. So we were drinking Drambuie. Yeah. But I mean, it was like when you were, you know, when you very first used to go abroad with your mates, you know, and you'd go to wherever you went, whether it was Greece or Benidorm or Ayia Napa, wherever you went to. It was the thing, wasn't it? You got wankered in the departures lounge. You got on the plane. You started supping your duty free, which you weren't supposed to open, plus your drinks that you'd get when the bar came round. You know, it was just the done thing, wasn't it? But now they don't like you being drunk on planes. Well, yeah, Julia, this friend of mine that I'm on about, obviously I'm not mentioning her because she'd be easily identified. She was head of a particular airline, and when that airline basically was no more, she went to work for Emirates and worked for them incredibly briefly because she said they were, I mean, I don't know what your friend has to say about them, but my friend just said they were so cliquey. She just found them one of the most unfriendly airlines to work for. And she's worked for quite a few airlines, and she's always had the high ranking positions in the different airlines. And she just did not find Emirates a friendly organisation at all. And she left. I think she was only there a matter of a few weeks and then just left. She went, no, sod this, I'd rather not work. Yeah, smoking or non-smoking. Bring back the days before 2008. I can't believe it's that long since, like, the smoking bans everywhere came in. No smoking in the bloody pubs. I mean, I know people couldn't smoke in the workplace, you know, quite a way before that, but, well, you could, but you had your smoking rooms, didn't you? Oh, your friend hated it as well. Yeah, my friend, she just said Emirates. She said they look very nice on the outside. She said the exterior is very flashing and, you know, shiny and happy. But she said no, on the inside, not a nice place, not nice people. And it's such a shame because she's fantastic at her job. You've had a bad few flights. Oh, gosh. I know it's beyond ridiculous. New Zealand are trying to ban smoking altogether. Yeah, they can't, but I've heard that before, though. You know, going to ban smoking in your own homes, smoking in your car. Get stuffed. I had that when I was working, right? And it really peed me off because, oh, I'm going to have to watch my battery because it's about to die. Let me just have a look on here. Worst flight was to Turkey, City where my knees nearly up to my chin. Back was killing me. Do you know what, Frida? When I came back from, funnily enough, it was on the return flight from Turkey. And I do have a bad back. And oh, I don't know if you heard that. Then my battery's about to go flat. Oh, I have to try and save my phone. If I lose you all, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to plug you in time. Ah, oh shit. Have I got you? Are we still there? Can it? Oh, thank goodness I can see Sheila. So I thought I'd knocked myself off then. I suddenly got the battery was about to close down. I told you, get no warning on this damn phone. Yeah, I was in work. Now, fair enough, smoking is banned in work, apart from you can smoke there's a smoking area outside. I had been on a works visit in my own car, may I add. I then got back onto the works car park. I'd had a fag while I was driving back. It was pissing it down with rain. And I was finishing my fag off in my car because I thought, I'm not getting out my car and going over, standing, getting piss wet through at the smoking area and then going back in the office. So I'm sitting in my car, smoking my fag, finished it, put it out, went back in the office. I'd probably been in about 15 minutes and one of the bosses came over. Now, she was a bit of a job's worth and, Jackie, can I have a word? I was like, yeah, go on. She went, in private. I'm like, all right, okay, what have I done? Yeah, go on. So follows her. She said, we've had a bit of a complaint. I said, go on. About me? She went, yeah, we've had a complaint. I said, what have I done this time? She said, about you smoking. I went, right, as far as I was aware, I'm allowed to smoke, aren't I? Well, yes, but you were smoking in your car. I was like, right. Well, you're not allowed to smoke on works premises anywhere other than in the designated smoking area. I said, right, that I understand. However, my own vehicle is not works premises. It may be on works premises. However, it is a sealed unit with the windows that were up and I was in my own property having a fag. How has somebody complained about that? Are you kidding me? fucking job's worth. And to be honest with you, I don't think anybody had. I think she'd spotted me out the window and just was being an arsehole about it. But I was like, no, as far as I'm concerned, my car is my property and I can smoke in it. Windows weren't open. The smoke wasn't going into the atmosphere that was owned by my employers, and it wasn't harming anybody. Knobs. Can have a sneaky smoke in the toilets on the plane if you vape. Oh, can you, Frida? Crash landing at Palma Airport and an engine blew up in midair going to Paris and now not fly again. Oh, gosh. Well, Julia, what happened to us this is why I'm terrified of flying now. We were in the second time we went to Australia, and it was, I'm trying to think now, were we? I think we were the first week or the second week. I'm trying to think, because we were there for 6 weeks. So I think it was the second week. We got a small internal flight. It was a private flight on one of these little, the little biplanes. I think there were only, was there 10 seats on it or something? So it's a small thing anyway. I've never been on such a small plane. Oh, well, that's worth me bearing in mind there, Frida. And yes, so we were on this little flight, and all of a sudden the guy, because obviously there wasn't any announcement thing, because you sat right near where the pilot was, and he was just dead matter of fact. This Aussie guy just really chilled out, and he went, well, we've got an engine failure, we're gonna have to come down, and we're probably going to come down quite hard, so just letting you all know, should be all right, but yeah. And we were like, what the fuck? But he didn't give us any warning. So it was, well, apart from, make sure your belts are on, that was it. And then the next minute we hit the ground. Now, yeah, we were fine. But in that matter of seconds between him telling us, me finally registering what was happening, the fact that we were going to do a crash, like an emergency crash landing in the outback in Australia, where things eat you, and we hit the ground, and yeah, it damaged, I think it damaged the landing gear, and there was a bit of other damage, but nothing that was life-threatening. And all I could think about for the rest of my holiday was, I have got 24 hours on a fucking plane to come home. What am I gonna do? I was terrified. If you'd have seen me when I went up to visit my dad, the other month, Cooper, what are you doing? Sorry, he's disemboweled a toy again. Naughty. He's had it for 2 minutes. He's disemboweled it and he's pulled the squeak out. Yeah, I was really scared going up in that little, and it's only a little plane, a little Logan airplane, but I was really frightened. I think it's something that I'm not gonna forget that very soon, and I have said that to Porky. You probably will struggle to get me on a plane. I mean, an hour's flight, that wasn't too bad, but no, you won't get me doing any longer than that. I suppose I would probably, if I could say to him, right, let's go over to the south of Ireland, do again, less than an hour's flight. Yeah, I'd be all right with that. But that's about it. Oh, so it sets the smoke detectors off, does it, Green Eyes? Yeah, well, the thing is, Green Eyes, I mean, this one came down all right. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, there was a bump. I mean, I pity anybody who had piles would have really felt it that day. But it was just the thought. I was like, oh my God. But then if anybody's ever, gone into Corfu, I mean, have you seen that flaming landing? You come, and especially when you're taking off, you think you're going to end up in the sea. Oh, really? I must go to bed. Thank you for a lovely evening. My wrench, my shield. See you all soon. Night. Oh, good night, Fern. I'm not going to be long after you because it's coming on for 1 a.m. now, and yeah, I've got a busy day tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, love. and it's been great to see you. Please come again. And now you're the blue crew. Although I'll not be able to guess you as easily next time because everybody's blue. So, yeah, but we'll give you plenty of heads up next time we do an incognito night. And I'll do it earlier because we always get, yeah, there's usually a lot more people in when it's an earlier one. But you take care, love. Green Eyes, when I went to Portugal 8 years ago, I had a crafty puff, was okay. On my vape, maybe they have made them more sensitive now. Oh, heck. Well, at least you can laugh about it, Julia, but I'm like you. I don't know. I couldn't do a flight again. I mean, that kind of a flight, you know. Internal flight in this country, yeah, it was all right. I didn't like it, but I had no choice. Just see if I've missed anything. Ah, so night, fellow shield maiden. Hey, Frieda, have you watched the latest episodes of or the latest season of The Last Kingdom? I haven't seen it yet. I'm trying to make time for it. I know that Simples was saying she was because she's been watching Vikings, following me, telling her to get into it. So I think she's on to season 5 now. And now we're going to have Green Eyes looking up Fortitude. You'll have to let me know if you watch it, Green Eyes, what you think of it. But as I said, give at least the first 2 episodes, give it chance. Because I was getting a bit lost with the first one, thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy this or not. But then I really did. And yeah, when the first season finished, I was just lost. I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? So the second one came on. I binge watched that. So, gosh, my voice is my voice is going. Right, lovelies. Well, I think on that note, I'm going to ditch off. Ow, Cooper. Oh God, this dog's chewing toys on my feet, and he keeps getting me toe by accident. Yeah, I'm going to call it an evening. Thank you so much. Thanks for bearing with me as well, being an hour later than I'd planned. But obviously we were at a lovely place having a lovely dinner, so I didn't want to say I'd be on at 8 and then miss it altogether. So I will make sure that the next ones are more humanely timed. And Monday, I will plan to come on and we can do a deep dive into Dyatlov. I'll take care. Have a lovely weekend. Oh, you too, Green Eyes, love. You take care. Enjoy. Is the hubby still home? Because I know you said the other night he'd made you a nice curry, hadn't he? And kiss and chat. Night. Have a lovely birthday. Oh, thank you so much, Frieda. Thank you. Oh, night, Julia. Night, anybody that I've missed. And I will see you all, hopefully, on Monday. Okie dokie, guys and girls. Oh, gosh, if you hear me with my flipping... Oh, well, tell him have a safe journey back, Green Eyes. My flipping voice is going. All right, everybody. Take care. Sleep well. Have a great weekend. And as always, I'll see you all on the bright side.